Hi, and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 and IndyCar podcast. It's Paul here with
Dan,
Chris,
and Lee.
I say IndyCar because, it's happening.
Everyone's an expert now, aren't they?
I don't know what you've been watching, but I've been watching Alonso Kart.
Alonso Kart.
Is that what it's called now?
Yes.
Oh, right. Yeah, Fernando Kart.
Yeah.
I believe it's called.
Benendi.
I believe it's called the Nigel Mansell effect, when Formula One fans tend to switch over to the Indy 500 because a notable star in Formula One is taking part in the Indy 500.
And this year it's Max Chilton.
Well, it's a bit like watching Formula One last year, isn't it? You've got a couple of Manor drivers with Alonso in between them.
Yeah. I must say as well, people have been saying nasty things about the old fucking the cars. I think cars look great.
The Indy cars, I prefer it if they were different.
Yeah, that would be nice. But just in general, I think they look like a racing car. They look fast.
I've got to admit that looking at the aero setup for the way it is on an oval, it's weird having asymmetric wings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And tyres.
And tyres.
Yeah.
One thicker than the other.
Yeah.
Sorry, was I talking about Indy cars or Manor drivers? But, we've got a special guest with us via Skype. In the room via headphones, on Skype.
We're doing that weird time break thing again, aren't we?
Yes, because we've already pre-recorded this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've had a chat with Adrian from the IndyCar UK blog, who is an expert and definitely knows a hell of a lot more than we do.
Yeah, he was all right. He knew a bit.
Yeah. We'll play this now.
I still don't talk about a few things.
Should we play that now?
We'll play that now.
Let's do that.
Right, finally, we've been promising this for ages, and now we do actually have something special. We are actually doing, in the week of the race, what the fuck is the Indy 500?
And we've got someone who knows what he's talking about to tell us about it.
Which is more than we do. So from the UK IndyCar website, we have Adrian Rickard. Hi, Adrian.
Hello, Paul. Hello, Lee.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, mate?
And we've got Chris. Don't forget, we've got Chris and Dan with us as well.
And Chris and Dan, of course, yes.
So, basically, what is the Indy 500?
Well, let's strip it back. It's a race that takes place in America, in Indiana, in Indianapolis. Its first race was back in 1911. And as things stand, 33 cars line up at the start of the race. They turn left 800 times, and there's a winner. There's some milk. There's some big prizes. And everybody has a good time and gets stuck in a traffic jam going home. And it's the most wonderful event that you can go to.
I have actually wondered this before. What's the milk all about?
Right, the milk dates back to the 1930s when Louis Meyer, who won the race, in F1 you have champagne and or variants depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah.
He came out of the race after finishing 500 miles and said, "I'm really thirsty. I'd love to have a glass of milk." So he gave him the glass of milk, and that kind of stuck. So I think 1936 was the year that happened, and it's always carried on ever since. So Indianapolis 500 is built on traditions, always makes traditions, and that is one of the big ones that has always stuck through.
I suppose they've got a tradition has to start somewhere.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
yeah. So I'm guessing it's different from the rest of the IndyCar season. Would I be right in thinking there's more cars in this than your standard race?
Yeah, there's 33. You've got the full-time entrants who you're looking around about 21, 22 cars normally, but the Indianapolis, they always aim for the 33. There used to be a little bit more fighting for the places in the grid due to costs and engine leases and money just generally drying up over the past decade. They've really had to just cut back and just try and get to 33 into the actual field. Those are made up with sort of part-time entries, one-offs. There's one-off we'll probably come to a little bit later on. But you'll also get those who always come to Indianapolis. I'll give you a couple of names. Pippa Mann, Buddy Lazier, who won it 21 years ago. He comes back for a one-off. And there's a couple other new teams that have come up this year. They've brought their own young drivers and a few returning drivers, but they're all just concentrated to get into the Indy 500 because it is the big payday and it is the big race for them to actually try and win.
How old's the guy that won it 21 years ago?
He is 49. He's called Buddy Lazier. He won it in 96, which was the first year after the split, which we won't get too much into now, but it was a dark period for American open wheel racing, which basically the advantage it had over F1 at the time completely annihilated the series and created horrendous amounts of politics, and managed to shoot itself in both feet and blow them both off. So yeah, we'll leave that. 96. We've all made up again.
Is that the whole Champ Indy thing?
It is, yeah. It's the IRL back in 96 formed up. Kart stayed on its own. Indy 500 went with IRL. Kart didn't have it. They couldn't compete at the same time. Eventually, Kart went bust. Champ Car started up, and eventually in 2008, they kind of saw sense and thought, do you know what? This really isn't working. We need to do something about it. So eventually, they kissed and made up and are back together. And finally, about 10 years down the line, are actually starting to look a lot more in a much stronger position than they have been.
It's funny, isn't it, when you consider the time that would have happened. And at that time, Formula One was always talk about breakaway series, as if Indy wasn't cannibalising itself.
Yeah, I know. Even when you still hear like the breakaway series, I think there was an old agreement back in 2006 that was coming to an end, and you were just like, oh, threats take away Ferrari this and different manufacturers, and you're just like, yeah, that doesn't work. Good luck.
Yeah, it certainly seems that the American Open Wheel Series it's had a bit of a checkered history. I mean, I do know that the 500 used to be part of the World Drivers' Championship.
Yes.
Graham Hill being the most notable winner back in those days.
Mm-hmm. I would probably chuck Jimmy Clark in there as well.
Yes, and Graham Hill being the only driver to do what Alonso's aiming for, which is the Triple Crown, Monaco, Indy, and the Le Mans 24 Hours.
I think Alonso's just trying to sort of fend off suicidal tendencies at the minute rather than the Triple Crown.
Oh, it's nice seeing him look happy, isn't it?
He's smiling.
Which is something that we've not seen from Alonso for a few years.
About a decade.
One thing I wanted to ask: the qualifying and practice for the one race. It's 2 weeks worth. That seems like an awful lot.
It is. It used to be a whole lot more. The month of May used to be the month of May. Now, the race always takes place on Memorial Weekend in America, which is the last Sunday or the last weekend of May. Back in the days, they used to have like a week's practice, a qualifying weekend 1, and a bit more practice, then a qualifying weekend 2. They do the bumping of the fields, but that was back when we used to have 40, 50, 60 cars trying to get into the race, and it wasn't really the same commercial pressurization like cooker pot that we have now. It starts with the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, so you have a race on the old F1 road course, slightly updated from when F1 was there and Michelin tyres decided not to play ball, but
we don't talk about that.
We don't need to worry about that one.
We were all visiting our aunt that week.
So that race takes place on the Saturday. They have the Sunday off when they sort of turn the track around and get everything ready for practice on the oval. Monday they start practicing for 5 days. Come Saturday and Sunday you have qualification weekend. Now they've been trying around with different sort of formats and trying to get it right, but they've really struggled, and to be honest with you, it always seems to be affected by the weather, and that happened again this year. So it was a case of everybody had one lap to just go out and push the time, and then they come back the day after and then sort of like in their own little segments sort of like finalize where they will start in the field on Sunday.
It seems a very overcomplicated qualifying system, doesn't it?
It's kind of it actually does make sense. Once you look at it, just don't try to explain it to anybody, because I tried to explain it to someone last night and I actually confused myself. But it made sense to me at the time. When I was actually out in Indianapolis, I was in the media center last year. I was there with a national radio station, and they gave a sheet to displaying how this qualifying system was now going to work. If you can't fit your qualifying system onto a page of A4, something might be up. It was printed on specially longer A4 paper, so it was. I kind of like what they do, but it is very weather dependent, and in previous years they've had cars with issues with them flipping, had the problems with the weather. This year again, it was rain on the Saturday, which really cut short what they were planning on doing. So. The qualifying is fun. It's a great spectacle. If you think back to F1, I think it was 15 years ago, they had like the one shot. It is kind of like that, but over a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
there's only one car on track.
Yeah, because they tried the one shot in various different ways. Because at one point it was the pre-qualifying on the Friday or early on the Saturday, which then determined the order that cars would go out to qualify.
Yeah.
And the pre-qualifying order was determined by the finishing position in the last race.
Yeah.
And didn't really work. I can see it work. I was watching qualifying this weekend, as I'm sure the rest of us saw some of it, and it actually does seem to work well for an oval course.
Yeah, I can see it working for an oval course because, like you say, you turn a lap of 2.5 miles in just under 40 seconds in an IndyCar. So it's not just watching one car out. If you can imagine one car out on Spa or one of the longer tracks in F1, it is going to be. It's a bit like, oh yeah, okay. Then we get another one going out, and it's it's not the easiest to watch, I think, really on a road course, but on an oval, it's quick and it's over and it's done with, and you can really concentrate on it, no problem.
Yeah. Hi, Adrian. It's Chris here. First time I watched IndyCar was when Jacques Villeneuve, when I heard that Jacques Villeneuve was taking over at Williams, switched over to the old Eurosport channel and watched an IndyCar race. And I'm just thinking of it as sort of perspective from sort of like most of our listeners being like Formula One fans, some of which, of course, being IndyCar fans as well. What can you expect from the race if you're new to IndyCar? Because when I remember watching that race back in, must have been 95, 96, and all I can remember is seeing a massive traffic jam going around a left-hand turn consistently, with Jacques Villeneuve stuck in about 17th place, and I just couldn't understand why he was like a top-rated driver, but so far down the order, and I think he ended up finishing third in the race or something. But it just took a long time for him to come up to the front. Yeah,
I'll be honest. Due to my age, I wasn't overly watching IndyCar at that time. Also, the fact that I didn't have Eurosport, so. Like I say, my first awareness was it was Mansell, kind of very young at that point.
Yeah,
I didn't really know too much. Then obviously when you heard that Jacques Villeneuve was going to come over to F1, I kind of like went, oh yeah, okay. I read about it, but I didn't really watch it. But in more recent times, which I think is probably a fairer way to look at it, in the past few races at Indianapolis, they've had record overtakes as well as lead changes. I think a couple of years ago there was one with 67 lead changes. And to be honest with you, I couldn't even tell you how many thousands of overtakes there are actually during the race. There was a race at Fontana a couple of years ago which had, I think, 2,500 or 3,000 overtakes on track. So the cars are a little bit more conducive to having a bit of drag and tow and allowing a bit of a slingshot overtake into turn 1 and turn 3.
So much like Formula One, it's all sort of like strategy based as well as
you've got the fueling aspect as well.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, until you get to the very last stop, you basically just need to chuck your car full of fuel anyway and take on 4 new tyres. Because put it this way, you're travelling around at 220, 230, pushing 40 at some points miles an hour. You need your car in tip-top condition. So you're always bearing in mind what you've got with your tyres and your fuel strategy and just timing it and getting it just right. Because sometimes that, as it was the case last year with Alexander Rossi, timing that last fuel stop, a little bit of luck, a little bit of strategy, and just eking out that last little bit can win you the race.
Excellent, good stuff.
That's great. Who should we look out for from an ex-Formula One driver perspective, apart from the obvious? Because he's not an ex-F1 driver yet.
Takuma Sato.
You may laugh. 2012, had he had a little bit more patience about him, he attempted to overtake Dario Franchitti going into turn 1. Now, if he just followed him around, turn 2, go onto the back straight, line up and overtake, he could well have easily taken him into turn 3 in a much easier overtake, rounded the last corner and won the Indy 500 in 2012. He's bizarrely very quick and very reliable on ovals. He is still very much liable to the odd Banzai moment and typical Takuma Crasho, but he is very quick. He's also 39, 40 years old, so he's been around in IndyCar now for a little while, and he has won a race there. That was at Long Beach a few years ago, but he's and again, qualify. He was very, very quick again. Very odd, but yeah, he's don't rule him out. Other XF1, Max Chilton's actually had quite a good practice, and his qualifying wasn't too bad either. And
I did tweet during the Fast 9, just before the Fast 9, Max Chilton's looking quick, and I don't often get to type those words.
Yeah, he's in a good car with Ganassi, and he's also got the best engine at the moment for going fast, basically. In practice today, he has been posting some quick times as well. He's actually been at the top of the leaderboard for laps. Now, those are with a tow, so you're being dragged around. So he was averaging 228 miles an hour. But
sorry, this is Max Chilton we're talking about.
This is Max Chilton. We moved on to Max Chilton, yeah. Scary, eh?
Terrifying.
Yeah, so what other F1, XF1? There's, of course, the guy that won it last year, Alexander Rossi. Now, having been out there last May and was watched every day of practice, and I thought, you know what, this guy's actually really improving. Every day he was getting quicker and quicker, and I thought, you know what, he's probably a contender for a top 5. I never really thought he could win it, and as it was a bit of strategy that got him over the line. But at the end of the day, the objective is to do 500 miles as quickly as possible, and he did it. And again, he really actually looks like the real deal on an oval now, because before he came to IndyCar last year, when he sort of had his old issues with Marussia Manor and such like, he'd never raced on an oval before, but he actually really looks like a really, really good driver, and he's very quick, and he's got a little bit of calm and assurance about him that he didn't have last year, but he definitely has now, and he's starting on the front row, and I definitely would not rule him out of another victory.
And Juan Pablo Montoya's back in again this year, isn't he?
He is.
Because I thought he'd retired again.
Yeah. Well, he retired from F1. He moved over to NASCAR. That really didn't set the world alight, except for the back of a jet dryer. He's also moved back to IndyCar and landed himself a prize seat with Penske. So you're probably looking at the Mercedes equivalent if you're going to try and rate these teams. He won the Indy 500 in 2015 at his first attempt back, and is always going to be a contender. Now, he's only with Penske as a bit of a one-off part-time scenario, but I can see him definitely working his way through the field and is going to be a contender at the end, because he's very consistent and he really does know his way around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
What do you think Fernando's chances are then? Of winning it on his first go?
He's starting 5th. I wouldn't say. Originally, when it was announced, if I split it into 3 tiers, I would have put him in quite high up in the B tier, in the second tier. After watching him practice and the way he handles himself and dealing with in and out of traffic, because he's having to overtake now, and then I appreciate he hasn't done that for a while. He's actually shown himself to be a really accomplished overtaker again. So he can easily keep himself clean. It's the unpredictability of somebody else not doing what they want to do, especially at the start, because on the outside of him, he has that Japanese driver we were speaking about a short while ago. That start at Indianapolis is going to be something totally new to him, which he's never experienced before in his life, where it's just about 0.8 of a mile, and you've got 3 cars in a row, 11 rows of them going down this straight into a near enough blind alley of turn 1. So that's going to be interesting to see how he comes out of that. And if he stays clean, I can see him being a very easily front runner. The only other problem is, and I don't wish to bring this too much of an F1 audience saying that Honda engines are rubbish, but Honda engines are very, very quick. But unfortunately, during practice this past week, they seem to be a little bit more combustible than the Chevrolet engines. Fernando even had an engine change yesterday, and in the press conference, one of the journalists asked him, said, "Were you worried about the engine change before qualifying?" He said, no, I'm happy with it because I'm used to it before qualifying and before the race. So he was. He's also nice to see his personality back as well, but he's very calm and he's not too worried about it. I think he's very relaxed, which is a very good way to approach the race, because it's going to be 3.5 hours of intense driving. And can he win it? Yes. Is he going to win it? Not. I would probably give him a good 60% chance, but if I had £10, I'd quite happily put an each way bet on him to win.
See, I've got a theory that you might be able to help me with here.
Yep.
I think Alonso is going to sign for 2 more years with McLaren, But given the fact that next year that McLaren, like Formula One, obviously is probably not going to be a championship contender, what are the chances of McLaren Andretti or Andretti McLaren, however it's said, running a car for the whole season next year, and Alonso competing in that, and then going back to Formula One in 2019?
Very slim. McLaren have actually said in their initial press release, and I think they're interested in returning back to IndyCar in terms of the Indianapolis a little bit more often, like they used to back in the 70s. And I think they did stretch into the early 80s, but I think a bit of success and interest kind of waned at that point. I can see them doing another Indy 500 run next year, whether it's with Alonso. If he wins it this year, I think he'll do it again. It's kind of rude not to turn up to your own sort of celebration. If he doesn't win it, I can see McLaren doing it, but it might be with some other driver. As a Jenson Button fan, I would love to see Jenson Button do it, but we'll see. I don't really see it happening, but we can dream.
Yeah. It's all right. He's going to win Monaco
it's-
this year. It's fine.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, he's going to win Monaco. He's going to be he's going to be flying.
This is the collision of two Jenson Button fans. We dreaded this moment, guys. We're in meltdown now.
It's actually happened.
I'm literally expecting my girlfriend to give birth to my son in July, and his middle name's Jensen.
Excellent.
But so's
Can
one
I
of
just
your
tell you
cats.
something at the moment? Fernando Alonso, he's currently got 22 World Championship points.
What?
Sorry, he's currently got 22 IndyCar points at the moment in the championship.
Has
Those
he?
points for qualifying, which is more than he's established in McLaren in the past, 3 years?
Yeah,
3 years.
that's definitely more than McLaren's going to score this year. I'd have thought. Oh, sorry. They're obviously they're going to have 25 from Jensen winning in Monaco.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you so much, Adrian, for joining us and explaining things and making things a lot clearer. The four of us will be watching the race on Sunday.
Yeah.
And
It's going to be a good day of motorsport.
It's going to be a great day of motorsport. We're going to be doing the live blog. We're going to carry on the live blog from Monaco right to the end of Indy, where someone drinks the milk and kisses the bricks.
I need a good day of motorsport anyway, because I watched Formula E last Saturday.
Oh,
I need
Yeah,
something to balance it out.
yeah.
with
David-
that strategically slow car at the very end to try and gain himself a 5-second gap.
Yeah.
How peculiar.
It's fucking ridiculous, that sport.
We're trying not to talk about it. We're putting him through therapy later. But thanks very much for joining us, Adrian, and
You're welcome.
hopefully we'll get a great race on Sunday. A good performance from Alonso and everyone else.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed for a safe race. 4:30
Absolutely.
on Sunday, the TV starts, so tune in. You won't miss it. It's really good fun, and if you think it is just a simple case of turning left for 800 laps, it's a little bit more than that.
Oh, it's at 230 mile an hour. That left is a
Yeah.
corner, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
It is.
All right, thanks a lot, Adrian. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So there we go then.
Excellent.
We now know more about IndyCar than we did before.
More time breaking.
More time breaking.
No, you're back in the room now.
So yeah, everybody should hopefully know or be a little bit more enthusiastic about the Indy 500. I might still struggle if I'm
And now
honest.
we know more about milk.
Yes.
Yeah. Pint of milk on the line.
That's
I
it.
wouldn't mind. We know from that documentary, Anchorman, that milk is a bad idea.
When it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learnt that from a Simpsons episode, the Who Shot Mr. Burns one.
It's so
Chief Wiggum has hot cream and then falls asleep, and Lisa talks back to him like Twin Peaks.
I tried watching Twin Peaks the other day. I know this really should have been Patreon, Paul.
Is this the new Twin Peaks or the old Twin Peaks?
The old Twin Peaks,
Right.
Because I wanted to watch that before I might watch the new Twin Peaks.
Good idea.
I didn't enjoy the first episode. Is it worth me watching the other 7?
Other 7?
Yeah.
Other 21?
There's 8 episodes on.
That's the first series. Then there's a second series.
Oh, is
then
there?
there's the new ones. Yeah.
Right, I didn't realise.
No, first series was only 8 episodes long.
Is it like Supernatural? Is there supernatural elements to it?
I don't know because I've never seen it. I know it's Supernatural.
Oh dear, Dan's having a coughing fit.
Yeah.
Which means get back to Formula One.
I think it does mean get back to Formula One. We'll stop talking about Twin Peaks now, and we'll start with Jenson Button.
yes.
Why was I talking about Twin Peaks for so long?
I was wondering why Jenson's the first thing on the running order.
I haven't looked. I saw Chris had a picture of Jensen up when he was writing the running order list, and I just started stroking his face.
Yeah, which made the picture on my phone go huge and then small and then huge and then small. It was very strange.
Strangely
I think
enough-
we should clarify it was Jensen's face that you were stroking.
Strangely enough, when I was stroking his face, it made me go huge and then small.
Oh dear.
I was
dear.
waiting for that.
But yeah, Jenson Button, of course, we've been speaking a lot about Fernando Alonso being in Indianapolis this weekend, which only means that Jenson Button is back inside the McLaren. Now, I'm
He's
very
been doing some interviews today and
Yeah.
sounding quite positive.
Yeah, he says it's very surreal being back in this world of Formula One because he's gotten used to. Oh dear.
Oh, you all right, Dan?
Just a minor case of death.
It turns out Formula One drivers don't retire like they used to.
No, they don't retire. No, Massa did a terrible retirement. Massa's retirement was awful.
They're all taking inspiration from Mansell.
Yeah,
How many times did Mansell retire?
at least twice.
Because he definitely retired when he was in Ferrari,
Yeah.
and then he unretired, and then he retired again and unretired,
Yeah.
and then I think it was 3 times altogether.
Did he retire after Williams before rejoining McLaren? Not rejoining, before joining McLaren.
Before joining
sorry.
McLaren, yeah, and then he lasted 2 races when they made the car big enough for him to get into, and then retired again.
And then
Yeah.
went off to British touring cars.
Only because he couldn't come to an agreement with Eddie Jordan about joining them for the following season.
Oh, wow. Didn't know.
Fair enough.
Tell you what, he fucking retired a few times in British touring cars.
Yeah, he did. I
Retired
remember.
into all sorts of walls.
Yeah, I remember him putting it in the gravel at Donington.
Yeah.
I was there at that race.
Oh, were you in the
Yeah.
wet? In the wet at Donington.
He didn't have a lot of fans in the audience.
Oh dear.
Did not.
Because he tried to spin the wheels up, didn't he, to try and get back onto the. What's going on with the laptop there, Paul?
My laptop screen flickers round at your house, Lee, every week. It doesn't do it any other time. I use this for work.
You're okay, Dan.
I'm
5
not
days a
having
week.
that my house can make your screen flip.
Oh. I was just checking on Dan. He appears to be.
My laptop's flickering. Dan's flickering.
Dan's dying quietly in the corner here.
We'll just go for Dan's dying in the corner.
You're not doing anything quietly.
Let's carry on with the running order. So Jenson Button is back.
Yes.
He's been doing interviews today, and he does sound quite upbeat.
Pretty confident. Although apparently in the simulator he put the car in the marina 3 times.
How did he do that?
He didn't mean to.
In the marina? We haven't had a car in a marina since the 20s.
I think there was one in the 60s. We need Sean.
We do need Sean actually for that, yeah. But I think we've filled our quota of guests for tonight.
I think we have. I might tweet him and see
Oops,
what he says.
I just punched my microphone. I'm really sorry. Didn't mean to. I was going to scratch my neck.
That was a bit disingenuous, that, Chris.
No, I just this is all going very well. But yeah, there's McLaren are bringing another set of updates. They decided to split their update package into 2.
1955, by the way. Was the last time one went into
1955. 1955 was the last time that we had a car in a marina, and it's probably the last time McLaren were looking at winning a race. No, of course it wasn't. They've won many races at Monaco in the past. But McLaren are bringing their second part of their updates, which they decided to split over 2 races rather than bring them all to Spain. They decided to bring part updates to Spain and part updates to Monaco.
And I'm now actually going to correct myself and say 1969.
69 was the last time
Yes.
we saw a car in the marina. Who was that?
Paul Hawkins was 1. And
Hang on, there's more than one car in
there was
69.
2 went in the marina in 1969.
Are they still there, those cars?
I think they sent divers in to get them out. I hate having to look things up on the fly.
I
Yeah.
bet you'd find some suspect things in the sea at Monaco.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a whole load of supermodels at the bottom of this.
Sorry, 1965. Oh, I hate the internet. Right, we're done now. It hasn't happened for a long time.
Right. Great.
But
Yeah.
we're all feeling confident here about Jensen's chances.
Have
aren't
we all put money on Jensen to win the race each way?
Yes.
Purely because of his extremely long odds, which are probably there for a reason.
Maybe, but
I've always thought that,
Or as was discussed earlier, there's a good chance of him doing it. No, I think there's about a 200 to 1 chance of him doing
Yeah.
it.
I've always thought because
No,
of the
there
odds of
isn't.
McLaren, if you were to put and continue to keep doing it, especially from now, because it's going to happen now sooner rather than the last 2 years. But if you were to put like £10 or £5 a race on McLaren to get a podium, eventually you will be up on your bet. Because the odds are so fucking long.
I don't know.
Sooner or later, that's gonna come round.
I
But
think-
when it comes round, the odds will probably be a lot shorter.
No, but you do it before. You do it before practice.
No, but I mean, like when the car actually comes good.
They would have to get a surprise podium.
No, but that's it. When they come good, I think it will be a surprise because it will be an update package, won't it? So they will have gone from being still scrambling around the bottom of the points to all of a sudden being on the podium.
I'm not sure it'll be an upgrade. I think it'll be a circuit that works really well for them, like Austin a couple of years
Monaco.
back.
Monaco is a chassis circuit, let's be honest. I mean, power doesn't mean an awful lot in Monaco. A lot of people are going to have their engines turned down because they don't want to over-extenuate their engines or the power units when there is no need to, really, because, as I say, it's a chassis circuit. It's all about engine recovery, getting into the electronic sort of system, into the electronic recovery system, and using that as well, using your battery power on certain parts of the circuit. We all know from doing Formula Lee this week, which we'll get to in a bit, that certain parts of the course were a lot faster than others, but makes overtaking incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. For those of you who don't know, Monaco's a very, very twisty, tight town circuit, not even a city circuit, but it's a town street circuit. And it's... but parts of the circuit you can barely get two cars one alongside each other anyway.
Yeah.
High propensity for safety cars. I've just checked the weather before. The weather looks like it's going to be good for the next 2 weeks in Monaco. There's no sign of anything like that happening.
Yeah, because it's nearly TT time over here, so all the rain in Europe is on the Isle of Man.
Right.
Yeah. And, it's Monaco, and anything can happen. Ask Danny Ricciardo. Ask Lewis Hamilton.
Panis.
Ask Olivier Panis. But that was an extremely wet year, and lots of cars blew up.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to think that McLaren can't bring a decent chassis to Monaco, when you bear in mind that Alonso was, the fourth fastest driver at Spain? Lap time wise, I mean.
Lap time wise in the race, yeah.
Yeah, because when he had that last final pit stop, he decided to follow Vettel around for a few laps towards the end. There's absolutely no reason to think, to say why they wouldn't be able to do that. The only reason that you might think would go against Jensen is it is Monaco, anything can happen.
And it usually
does. But also, he's not physically driven these wider cars, and that's the only thing that could count against him.
He's driven Formula One cars, which have been similar to this.
Yeah. Wider cars. He does adapting quite well.
Yeah, he's been known to do that before.
Yes.
Sorry, Lee's wiping chocolate off his face.
I think it's chocolate. I hope it is. Yeah, it's gone now.
We'll do a more full preview of the Monaco Grand Prix later on.
Yes.
But if Dan can survive into the next segment, we have the return of a long missed character from the podcast, because we've got a story about Toto.
Yes,
I've been
we
back
do.
for a couple of weeks.
Huh?
I've been back for a couple of weeks.
I said long missed.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Toto Wolff, and he's very excited because now he's falling in love with Formula One again.
Why did you fall out of it? All they've been doing is winning.
That's why he fell out of love with it.
He's a liar, isn't he? He's a fucking liar.
I think he's looking at it from point of view from fans' point of view.
They did so much winning, he got tired of all the winning.
Yeah, by fans you mean PR, don't you?
No. He didn't get tired of all the winning as a team manager. I think as a team manager, he loved that Mercedes were completely unrivaled for 3 seasons. But I think that the racing fan inside him sort of loves the fact that there's a fight going on for the championship, and that he's somehow involved in it.
Yeah.
And if Mercedes do come out on top over Ferrari by the time the end of November rolls around, then that will make this this victory even more sweeter because they're not completely dominating. I think was it Canada 2014? It was already pretty much decided this is going to be a two horse race between the two Mercedes drivers for the championship.
Yeah.
No one's going to catch them, and it was like that ever since from then until the end of 2016. Really, Red Bull came a little bit close at times. Ferrari won a couple of races in 2015.
Yes, there's races where they've not looked good, but there's never been a time when you thought they're actually under threat here.
Whereas now, we're turning up and there's fighting going on. I think Dan, you said it best, was that last week or the week before. Loving turning up to a race or watching a race when you've no idea who's going to win.
Yeah, and I think there's an argument to be made that they haven't got the best car on the track this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken before about technicality-wise. They've gone for the very sort of like long wheelbase, haven't they? Their rear wheels are a lot further back than a lot of other cars.
Which probably won't help them this weekend.
Might not help them through Monaco. Well, you say that, but I mean, you would think that scientifically, but it was the last sector in Spain where they were actually faster than the Ferraris. They were Vettel and even Kimi at times had the measure of the Mercedes in the first two sectors by only hundredths. Not talking like 10, by only hundredths. But then Hamilton and Bottas, both of them were able to pull it back in that last sector.
Yeah, I mean, Bottas is actually saying in an interview with Motorsport.com that the long wheelbase isn't going to be a handicap for the cars.
Oh well, we'll see.
But he's probably been told to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I suppose the thing is, if he's had to say it, then what does that mean?
Actually, normally, if they're going to do well, they'll be saying, long wheelbase is going to hurt us here. And the way the engine works, there's
It's
no
the art
chance
of-
we're going to do anything in
It's
Monaco.
the art of war again, isn't it?
Yeah, they're backstanding.
Yeah.
I think we go. I mean, it was good that we had a load of updates for both cars in Spain, and coming out of Spain, it looks like
That's just as close as ever.
Yeah.
it's like literally Max Chilton's talent between them.
As we are recording, he is currently fastest in Indy 500 practice.
You know what? And I know
Fernando, Max is faster than you.
Yeah, and I know our mate that was just talking to us about IndyCar is probably watching this. So I'm very sorry to say about this.
He's listening. We're not streaming this week.
Yeah, but I think that says more about Indy than Max.
He's good on that circuit. Right, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to have to say this, but we are doing the news, and it's in the news again.
Honda engines?
No, more dull, more boring,
Your life?
more boring, more dull.
No.
Your heartbeat.
Pirelli.
Oh, yes.
They're making the tyres softer for next year because everyone's complained that the new harder tyres that they asked for are too hard.
Oh, fuck my life.
Fuck Pirelli's life. Because you know what? Did you see the article that I think it was David Croft from Sky was had a brief thing on Sky Sports website about tyres for Silverstone, because hard tyres have always been used at Silverstone.
Yeah, the downgrade this year, are they?
Yep, they've downgraded it, they've revised it and decided that hard tyres will not be used at Silverstone. We had this conversation on the podcast last week, I think. They're going to be using, instead of softs, mediums and hards, it's going to be super softs.
Softs and mediums,
Yeah.
which are the equivalent of last year's soft. No.
Which is what they were asked to do.
Yeah.
Pirelli have got the worst job in
the
Formula
world.
1.
Yeah, and
And
now
it sounds like what they've done is they've just gone, fuck it, tell us what to do.
Yeah.
We'll do exactly what you ask, you bastards.
and
Yeah, but
now
then every time they do that, someone turns around and goes, "Oh, that's not quite right. That's wrong."
And so they say, whatever.
yeah, but now for 2018, the tyres are going to be made softer.
Again.
Yeah,
Isn't the definition of insanity doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the outcome to change?
Yes, pretty much.
no. The definition of insanity is signing the Formula One tyre contract for a third time.
Do you know what, though? Do you think, because I know Bernie vetoed it, didn't he, years ago? Do you think now Chase Carey's involved, we might have the opening for another tyre war? Because that's the only way to fix the Pirelli problem, is to have two tyre manufacturers that actually have to compete with each other.
I quite liked the tyre war between Bridgestone and Michelin. That was fun because you had tracks where Michelin were more suited to
Yeah.
and tracks where Bridgestone were more.
Until Bridgestone became
became Ferrari Stone.
The best shit,
Ferrari
best tyre.
stuff.
Yeah, and it
Because when
just-
Bridgestone first came in, it was the back end of the grid that was getting the had the
Arrows, I think,
Bridgestone
were the
deal.
first,
yeah.
weren't they?
Yeah,
And then Ferrari signed with Bridgestone, and all of a sudden,
yeah.
the tyres are infinitely better than they were when they were on.
They were designed to go on that car.
Yeah,
You know.
but I mean, would that be the problem that you'd get with a tyre war now? Because you would have Ferrari signing with one supplier, probably Pirelli, with them being Italian, and Mercedes siding with the other one. For example, if Continental came in, who are a German tyre manufacturer, they would go straight to Mercedes.
Yeah, Continental or
Yeah.
And then
Michelin or-
every other car would have to scrabble round for getting the most out of the tyres from the company that they supplied with, because they were built to fit one of the two front contenders, unless Michelin came back in again and all of a sudden Renault were right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I liked the tyre war because of that, because of the reasons I gave before. But the reasons I don't like it is because everyone's on the same tyres. You know, it's going to be more level pegging.
Yeah, and also I suppose the fact that it was the tyre war that caused Indygate
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuck Ralph Schumacher Indy wall.
Oh, did you see the Alonso meme I posted on
Yeah, I
Twitter? IndyCar, out DCar.
Yes. But so Pirelli are once again doing what everyone's asked them to do, because what everyone asked them to do this time last year turns out to be not what everyone wanted.
Is it Bob
Would you
Fernley?
say every
Is that
year?
him?
No, Bob Fernley is your man from Force India.
Who's
It's
your
Paul
man?
Hembry
Paul-
is
yeah.
the,
Yes, that's
is
the one.
Pirelli man.
He comes across as such a nice bloke.
When inside, he is absolutely raging.
Oh, with that shit, he's like a quivering fucking bunny rabbit inside. Just like if you imagine a bunny rabbit in a padded room, and that's all that's been played to it is white noise for 2 years. That's him inside.
I was going for is the motorsport equivalent of a swan, all sort of graceful and calm on the surface and paddling like fuck against the current underneath where you don't see it.
Self-harming swan.
I reckon he does the interview saying, yes, we've tried to do these tyres as best we can. And then he goes back and he gets on the phone and says, you want fucking softer rubber? I'll put you in a vat of fucking softer rubber, you fucking...
Well, apparently it was a very, very positive meeting between Pirelli and the teams.
For everyone except Paul Hembry, yeah.
And they exchanged a lot of ideas, also just beyond just the tyres.
Was it a full and frank exchange of ideas? Which is political speak for massive argument.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
You know, we were talking about different coloured tyres rather than the stripe around
Yeah.
around the thing.
Yeah.
No, I came up with a thought about this the other day. You know, when it was actually whilst I was playing Formula Lee. You know, like when your tyres start wearing down. Do you remember it was 2007 when Hamilton wore his tyre down to the canvas and then beached it in the gravel because he had no grip? When your tyres are wearing down to the point where they're off the cliff, wonder if you can change the colour of the compound as it gets further down. So
I'm gonna do a showing my age thing here. Pit stop 2 on the Commodore 64 in about 1984-85.
Wooden wheels.
No, it was still rubber. You had black tyres, but there was a line on the top of the tyres, and you could see how much they were deteriorating. It started off all black, and then the line went blue, and then purple, and then red, and then green, and then white. And if you took a corner too fast with a white line on your tyres, your tyre burst and you were stuck.
But was that part of proper Formula 1 at the time?
It was Formula 1 circuits.
but
in the game,
that
it wasn't a license
Formula
game.
One.
But that was part of the
No,
game.
but part of the game, because it was called pit stops.
See,
You
now
had to
that's-
make pit stops during
That's
the race.
a good idea. Is that like a gradient fading through the compounds? Is it? It's not coloured tyres.
No, not colours. Smiley face. going
Sad
into
face. But you were. You wouldn't be able to tell.
Or a man's head, yeah,
Yeah.
but all that wears down is his hair. So as your tyres go bald, the man goes bald.
And if you're seeing red on him, pit quickly.
Just before it goes off the clip, it's got like a stubble rash.
Yeah.
I worry how your mind works sometimes.
Oh, fucking yeah, I know.
You could make special tyres for Perez that have a comb over. It's the tyres actually gone off the cliff, but it's hiding it well.
But Carlos Sainz, how would you tell? Because the perfect hair game all the way through.
Hey,
So
no,
the
he-
tyres,
he-
the
his
tyres
hair-
would look
Don't
immaculate.
wear.
That
Don't wear.
magazine cover.
Oh, my
Good God!
word.
His hair is like half his head.
Yeah, I'm a straight man, but fucking swoon.
It's the hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm jealous of Carlos Sainz's hair. It's official.
I could sit somewhere and just run my fingers through that. Hours.
Oh God!
I repeat my previous statement.
And his hair.
So Pirelli can't win.
No, they can't.
No, basically. The other thing that's come out in the last few hours was about Bottas's engine failure in Spain. According to Mercedes, it was a problem that has never been seen before.
Wasn't it a water leak?
No, problem with the turbo.
It was a turbo issue.
Unless it was a water leak into the turbo.
Possibly. You definitely don't want that.
No, I wouldn't have thought the water was leaking into the turbo, but Toto said it was a turbo problem with a defect in it that they'd never seen before. Might have been a badge that said Honda.
Yeah, turbos are like snail trumpets, aren't they? Really, that sort of compress the air into as it goes into the engine. So if that was full of anything other than air, then you've got problems.
I don't totally understand what you just said.
But snail trumpets sound cool.
All I got was snail trumpets, which is
Yep.
is that what the snail army plays when the snail king and queen are entering the building?
I'm going to get scientific and a little bit James May here, but
Do you want to borrow my hair for that?
No, you're all right.
Sounds like a
What-
euphemism.
Well, but what do you need to start a fire?
Matches.
No, you need three things. You need fuel.
According to Biffy Clyro, petrol in a match.
Yes, you do. You need fuel, air, and a spark. It's the
And
same.
fire lighters.
It's not necessarily. It's the same thing. That
Okay,
you,
Flint.
It's the same thing that you need to start
you
an
missed
engine.
a wanted need for destruction.
No, not quite. That comes later. But it's the same thing for engines. You need air, fuel, and a spark. Now, air. If you can force more air in, you're gonna end up making your engine run faster,
Unless you blow the fire out.
unless you blow the fire out. Exactly. So you have
Maybe
to.
that's what Honda are getting wrong.
Maybe it is. So they need to. But air makes fire burn hotter.
Until it blows it out.
Exactly. So that's how it
I've
works.
seen
Basically,
Backdraft.
a turbo is like a snail. It's really hard to describe whilst people are listening. But it's like a snail.
Well, it's
that
really,
coils
really
in.
slow.
Yeah. Think of the shape of a snail. A snail's shell where it sort of coils into the middle.
Kind of long with a couple of antennas sticking out.
Yes, snail's shell, but without the actual snail inside it. And then the
Is
air,
that Honda's problem?
air goes in
they've
the
been putting the snail in
maybe
and not the shell.
That's it. They've got snails in their engines, literally. The big air goes in, becomes smaller air, and gets forced through a gap, which makes the fire burn hotter, and that's how turbos work.
Renault turn around and say, Honda engine's rubbish, but delicious.
Cyril Abitables was following the Honda engines down the pit lane, like so these delicious morsels falling out of the back of the McLaren.
No, they're Eric Boulier's cakes.
Has anybody got any garlic butter?
You have thrown me completely now. What do we have?
I don't think I wrote
You
it down, but did
fucking snail
Automoto and
trumpets.
talking Honda engines? Did Automoto and Sport, our favourite German friends
Oh,
in journalism,
yes.
say something about Honda and the cut-off date for engines?
You mean that thing that you didn't write down, but I was about to mention because Dan sent the details of that through earlier.
Yes, I didn't write it down.
Because Dan did some genuine investigative journalism.
Read Reddit.
Yeah, well, none of us did.
I was going to say you one up on the other three.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of the journalists from Automoto und Sport, our favourite German language magazine.
Yeah.
Apart from some of the specialist ones that Lee gets. Reported
Snail trumpet.
Die schnellen Trompeten.
He mentioned that there was a deadline, I guess, this morning or yesterday or sometime recently, I didn't do that much research, for notifying the FIA if you're changing engine suppliers. Mm-hmm. And McLaren have not said a word, so they are still using Honda next year.
Wow.
I'm sure there's a way of breaking that clause or deadline or...
To break that clause, you need unanimous agreement from all the other teams.
And that is impossible.
Because Ferrari say no to everything.
Just walking.
No, I think that Honda...
The question is, did Sauber get their application to use Honda engines in time?
I'm sure they would have done.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because they confirmed it like weeks ago.
Yeah, that's been announced, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than just being a rumour.
Well, yeah, but could they afford the stamp to send the letter?
Probably sent an
I
email.
love the idea on Peter Sauber's mantelpiece. There's just an envelope with FIA written on it, and it's like I should post that.
So that's something that's broken today. It does look as though Honda are going to be supplying McLaren and Sauber.
That's great. Honda will have 4 cars at the back of the grid.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see, because I think this open development thing has, as I mentioned last week, has got a few engineers up and down the pit lane thinking, you know what, if that Honda engine does actually sort itself out, it's going to be pretty handy.
Yeah.
So with open development now, anything's possible. No token system anymore.
Signing another team as well is a statement of intent.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that.
So, and to be fair, fucking Honda wanted to do it, but when Ron was in,
Yeah, he was the one with the power of veto.
Yeah.
And also Fernando has mentioned this week that McLaren is a more open place now that Zach Brown is CEO and Ron Dennis is not there.
I can imagine it being like that because
Bit more relaxed.
Yeah, just because of the Ron way of doing things. It was
Uniform, shine shoes.
Yeah.
There's the right way and there's the wrong way.
well, as far as Alonso's concerned, that the work trips that he takes one are fucking ace.
Did anyone ever see?
Actually, you could tell the new atmosphere at McLaren from the interviews that Jenson Button did last week in the technology centre.
In his clothes.
Yeah, there is no way on this earth that Ron Dennis would have let a driver be interviewed in the foyer with all the historic cars there, wearing an open neck T-shirt.
I think you're not thinking that might have been part of the
deal.
No, well, not even just the deal. I think that was it was intended to say, "Oh, look, we're bringing our casual driver back to do a race." You know,
But it's all very relaxed.
Yeah, it was PR.
It was PR, but if
he didn't just rock up. Like that.
no, but if Ron had still been there, Jenson Button
He
would
rocked
have.
up in McLaren race suit.
Yeah, he would have been there, suited and booted and corporate geared up to the
Oh
full.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
But that's one of the things that they don't do anymore.
And if you notice, he's grown out. His face feels a little bit, which Ron would in the past would have been like.
There's been a load of beards going around, even when Ron was there.
Yeah.
Fucking Alonso
Ron
signed. He
actually
looks
came
like-
out publicly and said he doesn't like beards on staff.
Yeah, but when Alonso was signed, he looked like a fucking hobo.
Yeah.
But Alonso.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine McLaren being a lot more relaxed. The American way of doing things, much more sort of laid back and sort of informal, so long as the job gets done and everybody sort of knows what they're supposed to be doing and gets it done, then it should work. Did you? I think we spoke about.
I think it shows just historically.
Yeah.
American business culture invented the term business casual.
Mm-hmm.
British business culture popularised the tie.
Yeah, exactly. I think as well. I think we mentioned before on podcasts, but it was a long time ago now, so some listeners may not have heard. There's a National Geographic Megastructures. I think it's Megastructures, or is it the Mega Factories thing?
Mega Factories.
where they visit the McLaren factory.
Do they?
Yeah, and there's a disinfectant tunnel that all employees must walk through from the Formula One Technology Centre through to where the cars are produced.
Yeah.
And it's the floor is a specially designed by McLaren disinfectant coated floor, which is disinfected every day, and then the disinfectant sticks to it, so that you don't carry anything from the Formula One side into the road car bit, or vice versa. You cannot go outside and walk around the lake to go in.
Yeah.
You have to walk through the tunnel.
It's just like when the foot and mouth crisis was going on and we had to walk through pools of disinfectant to get on the ferry or the
Except
plane.
it's about a quarter of a mile long.
I think that's probably more
standard than you'd think it is for technology stuff.
Possibly.
I'd imagine Intel and Apple and
But
all those
there's
sort of places.
yeah, but there's nothing on the there's no for a place that produces cars. They've got like a white floor in their road car.
Standard clean room behaviour.
Yeah, but they're not.
Yeah,
it's not
just
like they're mass
everything's-
producing for like Clios, is it?
Ford
No,
Clio.
Ford
Yeah,
Clios.
Ford Clios. They never buy one.
Papa.
Yeah, just like my Bulk Logan
Nicola?
figures.
Nicola. Yeah. What, Dad?
But I think that's probably more standard. In fact, it's probably something that lots of people do. But McLaren
Do
made out about
it to
more.
the extreme, but not in the way that Red Bull do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe actually the Ron Dennis way of working. Sad news now coming up next. Sadly, the world of motorsport lost Nicky Hayden today. Passed away just
obviously.
before we started recording.
Yeah, not Formula One related as such, but Nicky Hayden, 2006 MotoGP World Champion.
I'm pretty sure a good 90% of our audience is going to know who Nicky Hayden is.
Yeah, that's it. But
Anyone who's watched motorcycling.
yeah, he was on a charity cycle ride through Italy last week. Was hit by a car. Unfortunately, suffered brain damage, which he hasn't recovered from. And I saw Nicky Hayden on the Isle of Man when he was here for TT. I think it was 2012, and he was riding for Ducati at the time in MotoGP, and he did like a parade lap, and he came on the loudspeaker on Manx Radio TT when they grabbed a quick word with him after he came back, and he said he couldn't wait to get home and tell all of his friends that he. Now I'm very sorry for this, but there's going to be a slight impression going on here that he rode the Isle of Man, and I was sort of making fun of the fact the way he said that he'd ridden on the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And then I saw this like team of people in red jackets coming towards me, and then in the middle of this team of red jackets, as I was mimicking him, was Nicky Hayden himself. And I was just like, "Hi, Nicky," sort of nodded my head at him, and he just sort of smiled and nodded back with his shades on. He was in quite a rush. I think he didn't want to get stopped by anyone particularly. So yeah, I mean, I can't claim to know the man or anything, but that's as close as I got to Nicky Hayden. A great motorcycle rider. You don't become world champion if you're terrible.
I always felt like it was a matter of time as well before he made a comeback.
Who, Nicky Hayden?
Yeah.
He had a great bike when he rode for Honda.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of testing as well for them as well. I was always doing testing with Ducati or Honda.
Ducati, I think he was doing, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's very sad.
It is sad, and everybody, Formula One drivers, everybody around the world of motorsport, everybody pulls together when something like this happens,
Yeah.
much like the accident for Billy Monger earlier this year. So we, again, send our thoughts to the friends and family of Nicky Hayden.
I think it seems to, I don't know about you, it seems to make it worse for me when you get someone that's involved in motorsport that's basically made a habit of putting their lives on the line on a weekendly basis, and then like Michael Schumacher injures himself in a skiing accident, or Nicky Hayden dies through a push bike accident.
Oh,
Yeah.
Colin McRae.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A helicopter.
and you just
Steve
think,
Hislop.
like, fuck, the of all the times they could have, probably should have hurt themselves, and then it's just a daily, mundane, day-to-day
Yeah.
task. Maybe helicopters aren't a
I mean,
day-to-day task.
But I mean, in the case of Michael Schumacher, I mean, you look at that overtake that Alonso did on him around 130R in Japan,
Yeah.
and you think, oh my god, that could so easily have gone horrifically wrong.
It would have been an absolute plane crash.
Yeah, and you think, wow, well, he did that at, what was it, like 180, 190 mile an hour
Yeah.
around that corner in F1 at those times, and then he goes skiing off piste. It's awful.
Something
really.
that he did several times a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It is terrible. It is terrible. But again, yeah.
I mean,
All faults in
basically,
Nicky
you just have to take your hat off to anyone that's involved in motorsport anyway.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Billy Munger. He was at the BTCC this weekend.
Yes, he was.
And he is looking fit and healthy, knocking around with Lewis Hamilton's brother, Nicholas.
Yeah.
I think we could see him getting a guest drive in that at some point soon.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I reckon we'll see him getting a wild card in a BTCC event next year when they can adapt a car for him.
Yeah, no, that'd be
Quite
good.
possibly. I mean, it'd be difficult for him to race single seater. I know they've done it for Alex Zanardi, adapted single seater cars. But
I mean, no offense to anybody by saying this, but Alex Zanardi is a different case.
completely,
Joe,
yeah.
because
And
he's
this
Alex
is-
Zanardi.
Yeah,
You know,
this is it's much easier as well to
Yeah.
convert a standard saloon style
Yeah.
car to adapt that for hand controls than it is a single seater, for example.
is Lewis Hamilton's brother still in the Clio Cup?
Yeah, which
that
is a
what he said?
support race.
It's support for the BTCC.
That's, that's where you might see it. Is him getting a drive in the Clio Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quite.
something is. I think all the best to Billy Monger. He's not giving up. He wants to carry on racing. But something I think basically cars with roofs, GT style cars or touring car style. I think that's probably what he's probably looking at now.
There is a good chance.
All the best to him.
Moving on, we have the Monaco preview next on the list. So
Yes.
we've already covered it a little bit, but it's Monaco.
We've covered one team.
We've covered one team, so we won't talk about them again. But we've got a hell of a lot to talk about as always because it is Monaco, which they call it the jewel in the F1 season.
Well, it's not.
Although they don't put the
is
jewels
it?
in the cars anymore after the ones in the Jaguars got stolen.
From Brazil.
Do you know what?
No, from Monaco.
It wasn't Brazil, wasn't it? That
No,
No, it was Monaco.
No,
they
they
had
put,
the
they put
diamond.
the put the diamonds in the nose cone for it was Ocean's
Ocean's
12, 11.
It was one of the
13.
Oceans
It was an
film.
it was an Ocean's film.
and it crashed.
And it
so
crashed.
It went missing.
So a film about a heist and a £10,000 diamond got stolen.
Yeah.
Went missing when the car hit the barrier at
You
the
also
hairpin.
see some teams doing like silly promo things here as well, like Star
Red Bull,
Wars.
Star Wars pit crew.
Yeah, or the Superman year where the head of, was it Michelin or Pirelli?
It was, I think it was Michelin.
The head of one of the tyre companies had unfortunately passed away.
And David
David
Coulthard
Coulthard
had
was
to
stood on the
stand
podium
up.
for a minute's silence in a Superman outfit.
The Red Bull Star Wars car was one of the best looking cars ever.
Yeah,
and the pit crew were dressed as stormtroopers.
Yeah.
With
which
Darth
was-
Vader on the lollipop.
Yeah, which was just wonderful. That worked really, really well. I wonder if we'll see anything like that sort of this time around. I mean, I know it's
reckon-
tightened up a little bit in sort of livery rules.
I reckon we're going to see the Red Bull pit crew all dressed as Usain Bolt this year, and Danny Rick will get the fastest pit stops known to mankind just to make up for last year.
That, yeah, I mean, you always see some sort of celebrity who you wouldn't necessarily associate with Formula One as well.
Bieber last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bieber.
Yeah,
sort of
well, I mean,
just stood
don't forget, it's just down the coast from Cannes, and the film festival's going on there at the
Yeah.
moment, which is why it's usually films that get promoted.
Bieber looked off his fucking tits.
He
didn't
always does.
No, but except, well, I mean, to be fair, he probably is because anybody that goes through that Disney Club thing seems to turn out pretty fucking medicated.
No, he
into
wasn't.
their own-
Disney, he wasn't Disney Club. It was YouTube that invented him.
No, he was.
That was Justin Timberlake that was Disney Club.
No, he was.
No,
No,
was
he
he?
with Disney. I'm sure he
But
was.
wasn't Bieber picked up by Usher?
Yeah, no, but he was.
Oh.
He wasn't.
All right, Dan.
Yeah,
he
still
was
dying.
bred for stardom.
Oh, right.
It wasn't. He wasn't like ever a normal child.
No, I'm sure it's just a case
I
of
mean,
Lewis Hamilton
saying,
as well.
saying Justin Bieber looks off his tits is like saying Keith Richards looks a bit hungover.
But yeah,
ZZ Top, a bit stubbly.
yeah, was it who was the model a couple of years ago who refused to talk to Martin Brundle because she just didn't know anything about Formula One? She was just there on a promotion. Was that Cara Delvine? Was it?
Yeah,
perhaps?
that rings a bell. Did a Williams on him.
Yeah.
I mean the tennis player, not the team.
Yeah.
Why does Martin Brundle continue to try and speak to bellends?
Because it often makes
Because he's
good
got
television.
Because he's got.
Do you think so? I think
he's
it's
got
embarrassing.
he's got 3 minutes
Yeah.
usually to talk to as many people as he can, and if he can't get near a car, it's just whoever's passing because he's interviewed
No,
complete.
because he's instructed to speak to these people because he'll always say, "Oh, I've been told that Serena Williams is on the grid and I'm going to go speak to her." And you're there thinking, "Well, don't." Because last time it was fucking horrible, and she doesn't want to speak to you. We don't want to listen to her. Fuck off.
Ask the producer, or if you're listening, why?
Yeah, like
we suspect that Crofty listens. Maybe he can give us a little inkling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that he never responds to tweets, but yeah, Crofty, if you are listening to this, can you just explain it on the commentary on Sunday for us, please?
Yeah. Or just before Martin, if you are listening, just before Martin does his grid walk, can you just mention a fruit? Any fruit will do. Just mention a fruit. just some form of fruit, and then we'll know that you've heard us, and that will do. That will suffice as an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when
I like this. It's a game. It's code.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like,
excited now.
It's like when Sean used to read the news on a local radio station over here, and one of her friends used to send her a Facebook private message every morning saying, "Can you give a cough during your bulletin and dedicate it to me?"
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
No, that's just weird.
I'm
is a
not.
bit weird.
I'm not saying who it was.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Yeah, you are. You're going to do it right now.
She's the singer in a local rock band.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Monaco's coming up. Chassis circuit.
Yeah, not
We
much,
would think.
Yeah, we've already said that's chassis circuit. No need for power. No room for overtaking.
You do need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Qualifying is mainly king in Monaco.
Yeah, the only way to pass really effectively is strategy your way past someone.
Safety cars are always possible because someone's going to crash it and not be able to get their car immediately recovered.
Yeah.
Be very surprised if we ever went through a Monaco Grand Prix there where that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Or at least a virtual safety car where somebody might be able to take advantage of a pit stop. It all depends where you are on the circuit, when something happens, where the incident is. And what the what the nature of it. Good God! It sounds like Battersea Dogs Home in here.
Has everyone suddenly come down with plague?
Plaque.
We're just dedicating coughs to each other.
Sorry, I thought you were all suffering from it was that bad it's 3 tuberculosis.
Very good.
We do usually see the complete... That one was for you.
Sorry.
We usually do see the complete wildcard finishes. Like you say, we've had the Panis win. 96 and 97, Mika Salo getting a Tyrrell into 5th both years, and in 97 did it without making a pit stop when it absolutely threw it down.
Well, you've got to now.
Obviously,
haven't
you've
you?
got to
Yeah.
make... Well, no, because if it rains, you don't have to.
But it's not going to rain.
But it's not going to rain.
It doesn't look like it's going to rain.
Away, innit?
Yeah, but it's looking next 2 weeks they're looking like all sunshine at the moment.
Let's also remember that apparently the fucking Pirelli wet tyres this year is a fucking dog.
Yeah.
The Pirelli wet tyre is actually a normal hard compound tyre, but it's got a load of hamsters strapped to it with thimbles, and they sort of scoop the water out of the way.
Do you remember the Ultra Soft last year did like half the race, didn't it, for Lewis Hamilton after he switched from was it
after the
Inters?
wet did
A
the-
wet-
After the wet did the first half, and
Yeah.
then the
yeah, and then he switched straight to
then the kit and
Ultras.
soft just went and
Yeah, and
destroyed the field.
And yeah, well, that's the thing. If last year they could do half the race on Ultra Softs, and there are no softer compound than the Ultra Softs, this year surely they can do almost all of the race on one set of Ultra Softs.
They're going to still be driving those tyres in Canada.
Yeah.
You would imagine
it's going to
so.
be a one-stop race, and it's going to be a one-stop race simply because it has to be.
Yeah,
Perfunctory pit stop.
yeah, and you need track position. So yeah, undercut, overcut. It's going to be
Wombling free.
It's going to be used to try and get somebody out of traffic at some point.
Yeah, it will be.
You know, it's-
That's the only way. I think that is the only way to do it this
Which
year.
makes it quite interesting, to be perfectly honest, because if you don't need to have a pit stop, but you have to take one, then it's simply how to make that pit stop work for you.
We saw some of the drivers in Spain
Yeah.
doing a pit stop on the first lap.
I was just going to say, I can see that happening. Like just
Because, of course, they do need to use 2
Yeah.
different types of tyres. So
It could
Especially
work
if
out
you're
well
at the
for
back.
Sauber.
yeah.
Worked out well for them in Spain.
they got a new floor on the car this week.
A new floor.
A new floor, which should help with the aerodynamics.
Now, have they gone the full sort of Red Bull Mad Max style floor, or have they gone a little bit more conservative than that?
But I think they're going to be more conservative just simply because they won't have the R&D, will they?
Probably not, but we've been waiting for the Sauber upgrades, because there was there anything upgraded on the Sauber in Spain?
I don't know. I think
Well, apart from Pascal's right foot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because, like I say, I think we shouldn't big Sauber up too much yet, because if they're shit in Monaco, it shows that it was just on that day on that circuit it was grand. If they do well in Monaco, it proves they've got a good chassis car.
Yeah, that's fair to
yeah,
say.
I'll go with that.
I'm not going to be surprised if they do well, though.
I'm not going to be surprised if they do awfully.
Was it Monaco last year where Fernando tried setting fastest laps towards the end of the race?
Towards the end of the race, I was that busy getting ready for that gig that I kind of missed it. I mean, I even missed the overtake on the last corner of the last lap.
Yes. Yeah, when Nico Hülkenberg passed Rosberg for 6th.
Yeah.
On the last corner.
Yeah.
Rosberg was like, I'll just trundle on to the finish line here.
I'll be
in
having
6th.
that. Thank you very much, Nico.
And Hulk was like, thank you. Straight pass.
Yeah, I was in the fridge getting about 3 bottles of water out for the gig that I had in half an hour's time after the race finished.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
Don't have that problem this year. We're on at 10:30, so I've got a good hour after Indy finishes.
Excellent.
I think Force India will continue to be up there this week.
They've changed with the positioning of their numbers.
So we'll be able to see them being up there.
Yeah, rather than it being on the flat parts of the car, they're now very, very visible. And I don't know whether they spotted this in Spain, but the 3 letter for the 3 letters for the driver, Occo and Per, they are now very visible on the shark fin, just at the top of the shark fin in bright pink letters.
Yeah.
That was either that or a €25,000 fine for every race they, as it turns out, for every race they turn up without changing them.
Well, they could do without a big, massive fine right now.
Yeah.
But the Haas team have also changed livery for the rest of the season from Monaco onwards, have they not?
Yeah, they got rid of the red and brought in more grey.
No, it's white, isn't it? They've replaced the red with white.
It just looks more grey.
I like it. I think it looks cool.
Well, it was 2-tone grey, wasn't it, with a bit of red on it. Yeah. Now it's 1-tone grey with not a lot of red on it.
It's an Airfix model that you built before you painted.
No, I didn't mind the Haas before. I think it looks really cool now. I've never been a fan of red flicks on cars, to be perfectly honest. I think the McLaren looked pretty like doggy when it had like the bits of red on it.
Even when it was chrome with the red on it.
No, I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I thought that looked cool.
That was good.
Vodafone days.
Yeah, but like Manor consistently looked like a heap of shit. Spiker looked like a heap of shit.
That wasn't red, that was orange.
Well, same thing.
Well, it was meant to be orange, but it looked red on the TV cameras.
So, yeah, I it's good. Nice car.
But no, I think we'll see the Force Indias performing pretty well. I think Haas might be in with a chance, but it all depends on which driver combination turns up. Is it going to be good Grosjean?
Oh, brakes are an issue, aren't they, at Monaco?
Yeah.
Heavy braking.
I think you're going to get crashy Grosjean because he's under pressure now, and when Grosjean's under pressure, he tends to get a bit crashy. And I wouldn't put it past Magnussen to get a bit crashy at Monaco as well.
Might crashy Verstappen as well.
I was going to say Max.
He's not finished Monaco yet, has he?
No, he's been crashy both times.
Let's be fucking honest here. If we're talking crashy, let's talk Stroll.
He's not going to make the finish line.
Lance Stroll, DNF. That isn't even a bold prediction. No. That is just a thing.
Somebody asked us on the Facebook page if both Williams are going to see the finish line. It's kind of a redundant question, really. Yeah. One of them might.
Yeah.
Well, technically,
Massa should.
Technically, when you start, you've got to drive past the finish line, and then the next time you see a Williams on that straight, or the next time you see Stroll's Williams on that straight, it will be diverting into the pit lane on the back of a car.
Bold prediction: Lance Stroll bins it on the formation lap.
Oh, I see. I can see Lance Stroll being part of a big crash on the first lap.
He hasn't raced anything like this, has he? In his Formula 3.
Don't think he has, no.
Do they do... Because he was European Formula 3.
European Formula 3 don't do Monaco.
No. So he wouldn't have done Macau or anything like that because obviously it's not Europe.
Yeah. Well, Macau's an open one for practically any driver in any series to go in.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think he's done a street circuit like this before.
Even if he's done a street circuit before, I'd imagine... in my professional opinion as a painter and decorator and pod-time podcaster, that there's a massive difference between a street circuit in any racing car and a street circuit in a Formula 1 car.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, of course, you've got to bear in mind that the race will get delayed on Sunday because they're going to have to clear up from the F2 sprint race because Johnny Cecotto's back. And he has caused a massive one there before.
Has somebody got some tax money to get rid of and has paid for Johnny Cecotto to go into a race at Monaco?
Oh, he's back. He's back for the season. He's full
God.
time in F2.
I've got a bold prediction for Stroll. I've just worked it out.
Go on.
Not only is he going to have a fucking big accident, yeah, it's going to be a big accident that involves the race being stopped so they can fix the barrier.
Possibly.
That'll be just after they've repaired it from when Johnny Cecotto did it.
Yeah. Well, was it Sergio Perez some years ago? Was it qualifying? Had that accident, didn't he? Which put Pedro de la Rosa in the car for Canada.
Yeah.
He put a Sauber through the Tech Pro barrier and onto the Armco. That was a big accident coming out of the tunnel.
Yeah, I seem to remember last year's GP2 feature race on the Saturday got held up because somebody annihilated the barrier at Sandoval.
Yeah.
And there was I think things were held up for about half an hour while they actually rebuilt the whole thing. They actually had to weld new sections onto it.
Yeah.
And Joe Poe will want a better week than he had last year.
The form that Joe Poe is on at the minute, I think he's going to get as good a week as he had last year.
He could do a lot better.
Yeah.
We've been saying that about him. Well, we've said that about him at 5 different races this season.
No, I just mean in general.
Oh right, yeah.
He's pretty good around Monaco, though, isn't he?
Well, he was in GP2.
Yeah.
He wasn't last year,
No.
and I think he's worse now than he was this time last year.
I wouldn't say he's worse.
No,
I would just
I
say
don't
he's
think
in.
worse.
He's in.
I think he's
All
had
right,
worse luck.
All right, I'll say he's more shit.
No,
yeah.
Conditions are better though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget, last year, most of his shortcomings were his own fault. This year, 90% of his problems have been caused by other people. He's had constant issues with the car. He's missed practice sessions. Grosjean hit him.
Yeah, but again, it's like I said 2 weeks ago. It's like, what is he going to come? What excuse is he going to come up with?
No, but that's not his excuse. That's my observation.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as a racing driver, he has regressed.
I don't know.
I don't think he's regressed. I just think he is taking some time to get over the. I think he's maybe overdriving to compensate for the fact that he's had a bad start to the season.
He needs a good qualifying session, so he's not on
He's
the
had
back
one.
foot.
He had one where he got it into the top 10.
Yeah.
You could do with another one in Monaco,
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting with the Palmer family this weekend because the other Palmer, whose name I can never remember.
Will.
Yes. He's racing at Monaco as well, so Jonathan won't have to wonder which son to go and support.
Yeah, because was it last weekend? Jonathan Palmer said, "Well, it's Will's first race at Silverstone
in Formula Renault 3.5.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, so I'm here in Spain with Julian.
Yeah, who doesn't know what he's doing, obviously. So
yeah, nice one.
I'd have probably gone to the Formula One race. To be fair,
he's been
Yeah,
to.
they're more fun.
yeah.
I think Jonathan Palmer's been to a few Formula One races.
He was a Formula One driver for 6 years.
And he used to commentate as well, but that was in the old days when they didn't send him and Murray Walker to the tracks and they had to do it from a sound studio in Broadcasting House. Apparently. Right, well, are we going to do the usual top 3 hero and villain?
Yeah.
Can do. Should we just talk briefly about sort of Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull, or?
I think Ferrari and Mercedes are a given for being out front.
But which one do we
Apart from
think?
Jensen.
Because we've got this.
Oh, is Jensen there this weekend?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Apart from Jensen, because he's going to win.
Stoffel could do with a good weekend as well.
Fuck Stoffel.
But yeah,
I was ignoring the front end of the grid for some reason.
yeah.
I think the Ferraris will be ahead of the Mercedes.
I think so too, and I think it will be quite clear cut as well. As in both Ferraris ahead of both Mercedes. And a frustrated Lewis Hamilton is an overdriving Lewis Hamilton.
And that's something that you can't be in Monaco.
You can't
Yeah.
overdrive,
Um,
you know. And if Ice Boy loses his cool, as he has done a couple of times since he's taken the Mercedes seat, then he might not
Finish.
finish. Correct, because he tends to lose pace.
Yeah.
He loses pace and loses heart. Do you know what I mean? Like he did after Silverstone in
seems to get-
that race where Williams
Yeah.
should have won it.
He seems to get a heavy dose of Massa now and again, doesn't he?
those races where Massa just completely loses, seems to lose interest in the race, and he's just nowhere all of a sudden. He seems to get really heavy spells of Massa.
Do you think he goes to Toto? I've got a note from the doctor. It says I've got a bad case of the masses.
I thought that's why you were coughing all night tonight. Red Bull's an interesting point. Are they going to number one Danny Rick this weekend
No.
to make up for last year?
Absolutely not.
So they weren't number one. I mean, even if they did, Max wouldn't take notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only way Max would take notice is if Max was driving like Bottas in Spain,
Yeah.
where he's absolutely not on the pace, but he can do something for his teammate.
Yeah. The other thing you've got to think is there's a fucking Renault Works team out there nowadays. There's a Mercedes which looks like it's going to have a spare seat next year. Fuck knows what's going on with Ferrari, and you've got two fucking hot drivers in the Red Bull team. So they have to do everything to keep their drivers happy, because one of those, if not both of those, is going to leave the team as soon as they have the chance to, because this isn't the Red Bull we were looking for either of them.
It's not the Red Bull you need, it's the Red Bull you deserve.
Yeah. So I really can. I can see.
Not the Red Bull you're looking for.
I can. I mean, has
I watched that
anyone,
this afternoon.
apart from Vettel, who else is? No one else has really left Red Bull, have they? To want to go to another team.
No.
No.
So it's.
Well,
Gonna,
there have been talks that Ferrari are after Max Verstappen as a replacement for Kimi Raikkonen, but Max has turned around and went, got a contract, haven't I? I'm not interested in going anywhere.
I think Max will stay at Red Bull. I think if anyone leaves, it will be Danny Rick.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
would agree.
is Danny Rick's contract up this year or next year?
Next year, I think.
I think it is next year. I think it's still got another year.
Oh, and also, did you spot? This is something that's been missed. Red Bull have given Jos Verstappen an official job within the organisation.
No, I didn't see that. What's
I can't remember what his job is, but he's got a
Yeah,
job.
because that's got absolutely nothing to do with what I was just saying, has it?
No.
Yeah, Max, you can't go somewhere else. You get a lift to work every morning off your dad.
Yeah. it's not. It's see.
It's more like, you've left your dad here. Be a shame if something happened to him.
That's what
Oh,
Max
put him
said.
in a car, he'll end up in the gravel.
Yeah.
We've all gone quiet. I don't know why. Was somebody expecting me to say
Shall we
something?
fill
then?
some dead air?
No, it's all right. We filled it now.
I think we're all right.
Because every time you try and fill dead air, then I have to get Jacques Villeneuve out.
Right.
Okay, so heroes and villains.
Heroes and villains.
And top threes.
And top threes.
Top threes.
I'm going to go Vettel, Raikkonen, Ocon.
Ooh.
Mercedes to completely stuff it up, or Ocon to...
Mercedes to partially stuff it up, and Ocon to have an absolute blinder.
Has he raced at Monaco before?
No.
In GP2, possibly.
So you're taking both the Red Bulls out of this as well, then?
Or just not taking them out, I don't
Not
think.
I'm taking him out of the podium equation.
But you think Force India is going to turn up with a better car than the Red Bull?
No, they'll just strategy it.
No, they will. Yeah, they will strategy it, and they will. And something will happen. Max has got a history of being crashy in Monaco.
True.
Danny Rick's got bad luck this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And at Monaco.
yeah. Danny Rick will be leading on the last lap, and a seagull will fly into his airbox or something.
Oh, Seagull Lives Matter.
Tell that to Fernando. He wiped out two of them in Indy.
Oh,
There might have been pigeons, but no. I think we'll see Ocon getting a podium. Hero. I'm going to say Ruth Buscombe. And villain. Joe Purr.
Go on, Lee.
I think it will be Daniel Ricciardo wins the race with Lewis Hamilton and Vettel behind him, but I'm not sure which order.
You think he's going to be faster?
Yeah,
Have better pace than
yeah,
the others?
because as I said, that car.
Even given how far behind he was in Spain.
Yep, I think there's just going to be because he's phenomenal around that circuit, and I think the problems with that car will be negated to the other teams. And
Like he's got a point to prove this year. With Vettel and Hamilton behind him, probably Hamilton from Vettel. Heroes and villains. Villain would be Lance Stroll because he's going to have a fucking ace crash. Probably the most interesting thing he's going to do all year. And
I think we know your hero's going to be in advance.
yes, because he's gonna finish the race in a reasonable position, and that's Jenson Button.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you on the hero because I don't think he can do any wrong. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he turns up and
The only thing you do wrong is if he fucking stuffs it.
Well, if he stuffs it, well, he's not used
As
to
long
the
as he
car.
puts it in the marina.
Yeah.
Being
Three-
the first
three
driver
times.
since 1960, we're not quite sure.
Yeah. But yeah,
If he does it 3 times, that'll be amazing.
it will be, won't it? Yeah, yeah. But the only thing is, if it goes terribly wrong for him, he can't be blamed. If it goes really well for him, he'll be praised. So he's in a no-lose situation as far as I'm concerned. So my hero is also going to be Jenson Button. My villain, I'm going to go with Jolyon Palmer. I just don't think he's in the right headspace at the moment to
do Monaco.
Compete.
Yeah, to compete, basically. Yeah, to do Monaco. Lance Stroll, I agree with you on that one as well, Lee.
Yeah.
Is going to be. I think he's going to be very crashy. We could see him on sort of max sort of levels of crashing in every session.
that'd be
P1, P2, P3, Q1 out, race crash gone. 5 crashes in one weekend. I don't think is beyond Lance Stroll, to be honest with you. But I don't
I
just.
think it's well within his grasp.
Yeah, Jolyon Palmer has
Well, it
got.
was in his grasp, but he dropped it.
Jolyon Palmer, I think he's not relaxed enough to sort of just get on with the job and do what he needs to do. I think he's put himself under quite a bit of pressure, and I think he could not just ruin his own race, but ruin somebody else's as well. And so I'm putting him as my villain. My top 3, I'm going to say Kimi Räikkönen first. Just think he's due a little bit of luck, and if you're going to get luck anywhere, Monaco's the place to get it. I think probably Sebastian Vettel second, and he'll wonder why he's behind Kimi after a pit stop or something, or a virtual safety car that will go Kimi's way, something along those
The
lines.
only thing I'd say about that is if he's behind Kimi at any point during this race, I think Ferrari will promptly rectify that situation.
I don't think they will just yet.
Vettel will wonder why he's behind Kimi, and then somebody will come over the radio and say, "You were always behind him."
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, possibly. And and also Kimi's very, very good round Monaco as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say probably Lewis third. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Jenson Button up there. I put money on him to
Probably
do
not
well.
going to happen though.
Probably not going to happen.
Points. would be
I think.
almost a
Can
win.
we just take a quick straw poll now? How many of us think Jensen will get points?
I think you get points.
All 4 of
All
us.
4 of us.
Yeah, he's also taken, I don't know if this is worth pointing out, 2 sets of soft tyres. He's the only driver taking 2 sets of soft tyres. The reason for that is he's going to, if the car allows him to, he's going to run for every second of every free practice session. So he's probably going to use soft tyres for the first 2 set of soft tyres for the first 2 practice sessions.
So given
on
that,
the Thursday.
Given the amount of time that you get in the practice session, he's going to get at least 15 laps practicing.
Before they have to crane his McLaren out of the marina.
They'll break down in the tunnel, and that's a sod to get the car out.
You get fined for that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Who was it that crashed in the tunnel some years ago and it took them ages to recover the car?
I remember when Schumacher crashed in the tunnel and came out of it on 3 wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, Jensen had that massive crash coming out of the tunnel, didn't he?
Yeah, a few drivers
They
have had a
changed
bit.
this. They changed
I
the
remember
circuit.
They've
after
resurfaced it, haven't they? Yeah.
I remember Alex Wirtz doing a fantastic overtake on Schumacher 1 lap, and then coming out of the tunnel on no wheels, if I remember right.
That does ring a bell. Then, of course, Damon Hill coming out of the tunnel at full speed with smoke billowing out the back of his car and disappearing down the access road,
That was
Yeah.
so sad.
otherwise now known as the Formula E course.
Yeah, Formula E comes down that road, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
that's where it joins the rest of the Formula 1
Yeah, and
circuit.
the chicane at the end of the tunnel is now the hairpin.
Yeah.
Not being funny, how fucking shit is a car if it can't get around Monaco? It's a short circuit anyway.
Yeah.
And you go downhill for most of it. That has to help.
I think they do deliberately make it so you can't do a one-to-one comparison between Formula E and Formula One.
That's yeah. Well, you can't do one-to-one comparison because the stopwatches to do that haven't been invented.
And they're also
You
not
have to-
allowed to. I think it's
Yeah.
in the agreement between the two FIA ratified formulae
Yeah,
that they're not allowed to do that.
I like the idea of
I don't know about that, but Formula E wouldn't want it.
no.
No.
If someone turns around and says, "Oh, what are you going to do?" He says, "I'm going to time the difference between Formula One and Formula E around Monaco." What's that? It's an atomic clock.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, it's
there's,
a calendar.
I don't think necessarily Formula E would do too badly against Formula One in Monaco, but on the same circuit. But like, I mean, they don't use the same circuits for the very reasons Dan was
Formula
was sort of
E's
saying.
more fucking interesting than Formula E.
It is,
Yeah.
but the
It's got more viewers.
more participants for definite. And I've completely lost where I was going. Oh no, because they use the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico, didn't they? But they used it as part of a street circuit. Weirdly,
Yeah,
they sort of
yeah.
came in through the access road
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then onto the straight. It was like, well, that's bizarre.
Yeah, where you were was the end of your top three.
The end of my top three, I said
You've got Kimi.
Kimi, Vettel, and Lewis. I said third,
Lewis.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan.
Right, so I reckon third place, Seb Vettel.
Third.
Third. Second place, Kimi Raikkonen. It will just be a bit of luck and magic that gets him ahead of Vettel, despite Ferrari's best efforts.
Magic.
In first place, Jenson Button.
Oh,
He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
You
yeah.
heard it here first. Hero
Yeah.
and villain?
I'm
I've got one of those sore boners.
I'm with you on the hero, Paul. I think
Ruth Buscombe.
Ruth Buscombe is going to put those Saubers somewhere where they shouldn't be, even though I reckon
In the
they're going to do
marina.
a solid drive anyway.
Pascal Wehrlein's in the casino. No, I mean he's actually in the casino.
Got a sore neck again.
And then villain, I reckon
He's in the casino.
It's not a James Bond film. It's a car race. I reckon the frustration is going to get to Grosjean, and he's going to overcook it massively and take out 2 or 3 other people.
On turn one. Lap one, turn one. Hang on.
No, not lap 1, turn 1. I reckon it'll be.
We've had it. Do you remember the pasta disaster predictor?
How can we forget?
yeah.
How can we forget the pasta
We were going to
disaster
do the
predictor?
Stroll Patrol, weren't
Yeah.
we?
Yeah.
Should we have a guess at where there's going to be a huge crash at Monaco?
Where?
Because they're all when during the
Stroll.
race at Monaco.
Stroll.
Next weekend.
Yeah, Stroll, lap 1, turn 1. He's going to take somebody out.
Stroll lap one, turn one.
Maybe a couple
Dan, you want to say
people.
Grosjean?
Grosjean. I reckon his brakes will go going towards the hairpin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it will happen at the first corner, but I don't think it'll be on the first lap. I think it will be about 2 or 3 laps in. It'll wipe out the bottom half of the field.
I'm going to say Lance Stroll in the swimming pool section where it's
If he takes
fast.
Jensen out, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to rip his eyebrows off.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll in the swimming pool with the lead pipe.
Yeah.
Just when you were saying about the villain, then all I had in my head was Pastor Maldonado walking into a casino with like a 3-piece suit on,
Black
and
tie.
that- yeah, but and then that little
That's one for the patrons.
yeah, and then the little bit of music behind it going.
Well, somebody farting through a trumpet, a snail trumpet.
Yes, snail trumpet.
Snail trumpet.
Those noisy
let's play a
snails.
Well, I was just going to say, don't forget that Monaco is slightly different with the scheduling because of the public holiday in the Principality on Friday. FP1 and FP2 are on Thursday.
Because he can't close the roads on the public holiday on Friday. Not allowed to.
Yeah, even though they make public holidays on the Isle of Man because the roads are closed.
Yes.
We do things differently over here.
The Friday after.
Yeah,
Or 2 Fridays after.
in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, whatever.
Whenever. So that is Monaco. We will be doing the live blog, as always. You can get that on 3legs4wheels.com, but it's going to be a special live blog this week because we will be live blogging from about 11:30 in
It's
the
going to be
morning.
the never-ending live blog.
It better bloody end, because we're going right to the end of the Indy 500, which is approximately around about 9 o'clock by the time the ceremony's done. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing a repeat of last year where I'm grabbing my guitar, running down the hill, and I'm on stage at 10:30.
But you're not live blogging that.
I'm not live blogging the gig.
Should we do the F2 as well?
No.
No. We can do, but you're bringing breakfast.
Sounds fair.
Oh, God. So, on Sunday, we have the Three Legs, Four Wheels blogathon.
We do.
Because it's a big day of motorsport and live music. But mainly motorsport.
Live music for people who aren't listening to the podcast mostly.
Yes. Although they are streaming on the main gigs at the tent.
You post it on the website.
And I'll post it on the
Yeah.
website for when my band are on.
Hawk your wares later.
No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it now. We should play a game.
What game are we playing?
My game.
Oh,
The one where you need that guitar. I thought you were going to offer him that biscuit as a plectrum then.
Hell no. My biscuit for eating.
now I learned that that They Might Be Giants song, but I've forgotten it. So let's have a suggestion in the room now.
We can't suggest things. We've all got mouthful of biscuits.
I would like a repeat of Radiohead as it was my favourite.
Ah, no, we only had Radiohead last week.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do a greatest hits. Do Jacques Villeneuve again. I bet you've forgotten that, haven't you?
Do Soundgarden.
Oh, I could do a Soundgarden.
Do a Soundgarden
Chris
one
Cornell.
in tribute to Chris Cornell.
Yeah. I gotta think of a Soundgarden song to play, haven't I?
I'll start feeling dead air in a minute.
Yeah, you do that.
No.
I can't think of a. Oh yes, I can. I got a feeling so down. I got a feeling sold out. I kept the movie rolling, but I'm a total shun now. Oh yeah. That'll do.
I was expecting Black Hole Shunt.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, but it's not as easy to play as it sounds.
Nah, fair enough.
I've got mouth for biscuit.
You got a mouthful of biscuits, so I
You got me to fill some dead air?
Hang on, wait a second. Leah's got a mouthful of biscuit. We can't play Total Shots until.
I'm ready now.
For those who are not, who still despise the Indy 500, despite the fact we've spoken about it.
No, it's NASCAR that's Formula Redneck.
Yeah. You realise that you've just caused a hoedown.
Somewhere in Texas. You're good to go.
Never ever stop in the middle of a hoedown. Right.
I'm bringing me acoustic bass next week.
I was born
Da, da, da. Oh no, I did that.
In a crossfire hurricane.
in 1941.
That makes you 70. No, 70 something?
Are you Jackie Stewart?
I'm not Jackie Stewart.
76. That wasn't a guess. That was
Yes,
only
it
a
was. That was a guess.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a guess. We have guess. First guess goes after
76
the third.
this year.
76 this year. Right, so somebody who would be 76 this year, should they still be alive?
Yes.
Somebody like Mario Andretti. Is he that old?
Possibly.
Yeah, he would have been in his 30s when he won his world championship in
Yeah.
the 70s, so that sounds about right to me. Given that we're tying this in,
Yeah.
perhaps, possibly with IndyCar drivers who might have raced in Formula One, he seems like a good bet so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
I finished fourth in the Formula or F5000 before racing in Formula One.
F5000, I don't know anything about F5000.
They had 5-litre engines.
Slightly better than
And I'm done.
4000.
Anything, Dan? Dan?
No idea.
Third clue?
I drove for March, Ram, and Williams.
March, Ram, and Williams. Right, well, Andretti drove for
I am
many
Paul
more.
McCartney. Sorry.
Oh, that Ram album was terrible.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
mind that. I quite like it.
It was drivers who drove for March and Williams.
Why have I got Alan Jones in my?
Alan Jones was a Williams and March driver. How old would he be now? Is he still alive? Is he still with us, Alan Jones?
He's still alive. But I don't think he's that old. I think he's in his 60s.
Well, I don't know. He was 1980 world champion, wasn't he, Alan Jones?
Yeah, that would have made him.
So that's 37 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was put him at 39, 38, 39 when he won his world championship.
Yeah. Seems kind of old.
Oh, but these days it does.
Yeah, don't forget in the olden days of F1 you were either old or dead.
I will
What about-
have to hurry you for an answer.
What about Brabham? Would he have been about that age? Jack Brabham? Or
Did
would
he?
he-
I don't think he ever drove a Williams though, did he?
No, possibly not. Good point.
Because by the time Williams were a thing, Brabham were definitely a thing.
Yeah, definitely. So should we go for...
Go with Alan Jones?
Yep,
Alan Jones.
Are you Alan Jones?
I'm not Alan Jones.
No, not Alan Jones.
My final race was in 1976.
So yeah, definitely not Alan Jones.
No, Alan Jones won the World Championship. Well, he's already said he's not Alan Jones. But 76 was the Hunt Lauder year, wasn't it?
Yes.
So who was driving that year who may have retired from Formula One? Who will be driving a Williams around about then?
God.
Hard to tell, isn't it, really?
Yeah. I think we're going to need the next clue.
The next clue. Sorry, I didn't have it up then.
Oh, no.
I was fact checking my facts.
Fact checking.
I was replaced by Ronnie Peterson.
I was replaced by Ronnie Peterson.
Now, you see, I only remember Ronnie Peterson driving a Tyrrell.
Maybe he did. Maybe he just gave 3 teams. Didn't say they were the only 3 teams he drove for.
True.
Who was... No, because that wouldn't make sense. Ronnie Peterson. No, another clue, please, Lee, I think.
I continued to race in sports cars with some success.
After 76.
Oh, God. You're going to need a guess after this, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell.
No idea.
No, it's not after the next clue.
I think we've had 6, haven't we?
Yes, that was 6.
Oh, really? Good God.
Patrick Depailler?
I think he raced into the 80s, but it's worth a go. It's better than anything else we've got at the moment.
I'd just like to point out that that's my Eric Poulet's favourite driver.
His second favourite one's Patrick Deflaney.
Wait,
Closely
hang on.
followed by Patrick the Cupcake.
No, that's how a Canadian asks for dessert.
Fucking hell,
We should actually say this came from a Canadian as well, didn't it? This is Zane that sent this one in.
Yeah. Go on.
Sorry, I'm still
Sorry, yeah, we do need that. Are you Patrick Depailler?
I'm not Patrick Depailler. I can't say that.
Go on.
This is the first time ever.
How rude is this?
No, sorry, no, because I
Spell it out.
I won the 6 hours of PERGUSA. Pergus?
USA. Pergusa?
Pergusa. Yeah.
Or again, it's back to Canada. I won the 6 hours of Pergus, eh?
Even Googling doesn't help me pronounce it.
Let me try googling. For you.
Do you want to read?
I'm guessing that's somewhere in Italy.
I've no idea.
Oh, this next one's gonna fuck you in the ass.
Go.
After I retired, I started my own team.
Oh
Oh, it's your man who started Ligier.
no,
Johnny Ligier.
No.
no, it won't be because Ligier bought out Matra.
Just as a matter of fact.
Oh God, no. It's Emerson Fittipaldi's brother started Copra Suka, and Fittipaldi drove for him for a little bit, and the car was absolutely terrible, and they folded after. They folded, and I can't remember his name.
Are you Emerson Fittipaldi's brother?
I'm not.
Damn.
You should get it after this. I was the first female driver to qualify for the Race of Champions.
Probably not Emerson Fittipaldi's brother. Alan Jones then.
Are you Davina Galizia?
I'm not.
Are you Layla Lombardi?
I am Layla Lombardi.
I've
Very
got
good.
another one. It took me God knows how many goes.
To question 10, I am also the only woman to score points in Formula One, or half a point.
Half a point.
As it was.
Yeah.
And you're definitely not related to Emerson Fittipaldi.
Yeah, but cheers, Zane. That was a good one. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
Zane, you're a git.
Thanks for
Uh,
that, Zane.
He's been waiting patiently for me to do his one for fucking ages, because he sent me 6 questions at first. Fucking not doing any work. That's not that's not the idea now. The idea was for me to do as little work as humanly possible.
You even phone it in when you're on Skype, don't you?
Oh yeah.
See what I did there?
What other game are we doing?
The other game that we're doing is Formula Lee.
Yes,
and,
we are. I'm having a lot of fun with this Formula League.
We are.
No, we
and-
are not.
Well,
I thought I would hate it when Lee said it's going to be Monaco in the wet in a McLaren at sunset. I was like, "Oh, you bastard!" But then I actually started doing it. I was like, "This is actually quite fun. This is a challenge. I like this."
Monaco has always been my absolute worst circuit on racing games since the first Formula One game on
Yeah.
PlayStation. But I'm surprisingly quick.
well, you were until some other times came in,
I know,
which I've got. But no, but you're winning the.
in comparison to you turkeys, I'm fucking lightning.
Not at the
You're winning.
moment.
You're
I'm not
winning
that
in
far
the.
behind
You're
you
winning
now.
in the room at the minute.
I think I'm about 3 or 4 tenths behind you now.
It's a week in Formula One.
No,
But-
not really.
But we have some Formula Lee announcements.
Yes, we do.
We have some prize-related Formula Lee announcements.
This is good news.
Firstly, we want to thank David at Ultraflix
Yeah, 24 hours with Dan.
with for any, and he'll even wear the bonnet. If you haven't seen it, look on the Facebook page. No, David at Ultraflix has thrown quite a bit into the prize pot for the end of the season. I will just bring up the email. And he is now donating. I still can't believe this is good.
Dan.
Not donating down. He's now donating an extra £5 for second place weekly, racely, and £2 for third place in Amazon vouchers.
Nice.
We're keeping on going with the Pro Pack updates for the Apex Racing Manager game, which will now go to the fastest 2 entrants that haven't already won it. Because it occurred to me you can only add the Pro Pack once, because it upgrades the game. So there's no point in getting another if you've already upgraded it. So the Pro Packs will now go to the fastest 2, so you might even be outside the top 10
Yeah.
by the end of the season and still be in with a chance of getting a prize.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
So those Pro Pack upgrades will go to the fastest 2 drivers that haven't already won.
So keep your chin up, Dan.
For the end of the season, Zach Henderson has donated a £50 Steam voucher to go into the prize kitty. We're going to have to work out how to give away all these prizes, and more cash prizes from Ultraflix for the end of the season. £100 for first place now.
That's a proper
Good
prize
God.
and everything.
Yeah, 50 quid for second. And I'm just trying to find the email, which there's a lot of emails on here. Sorry about this.
That's all right.
Dead air and all that.
You should have prepared.
I should have prepared, but every time I move off Gmail, it always disappears. But cash prizes for the £100 going down to 10th place as well.
So you could get cash prizes basically for just putting in a lap on a PlayStation game.
Yeah,
It's pretty
effectively.
crazy.
Lee, you're going to have to explain that.
Oh, well, for the winner of ours as well, we could give them a year's free Patreon.
Patreon subscription to the extra podcast.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
No.
Why not?
Yeah.
I was merely writing it down, trying to show it to Paul, because
You just said, can we give a year's Patreon? I was like, what?
that seems to make sense.
If you said, can we give a year's Patreon podcast subscription, that would have made perfect sense.
Oh, stop.
But anyway,
nitpicking.
yeah, we'll work something out where we'll give away free access to the Patreon podcast.
Do it for the top three.
Do it for the top three. Okay. I'll work out how to do that.
Yeah.
So the prizes are increasing. I mean, bearing in mind, we are. Where's my laptop gone mad? We are only five races in, and we've had prizes donated, which is more than we'd ever hoped for, because we only started this as a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So just want to thank Niall for his prize offer. Zach,
Bit of fun. This is the Formula One breakaway series.
yeah, and
Yeah, it
David,
is.
and David as well for donating the prizes.
Esports are a thing.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to donate prizes, get in
Pathetic
touch.
thing.
We better have a bit of an update of what's going on at the minute. For the Monaco race, it's looking like to get into the points, you are going to have to get sub 131. That's as things stand with the times that we've got in.
So realistically, next week you probably need low 130s to get in the points, if not
Yeah.
quicker.
Which kind of means that Dan has to improve by over 3 seconds, because he's last out the four of us and last.
Dan has
Yes,
made his
I'm-
feelings very well known.
I am not doing Monaco in the wet.
Foundations.
Very well.
I am going to Indianapolis.
Foundations are very important in houses, Dan. So you sitting at the bottom there, you're just keeping everything sturdy.
This is our Fernando Alonso here. Going to Indianapolis instead.
He's buying a copy of the latest version of whatever IndyCar game he can get, and he's just gonna do Indianapolis and see how he gets on with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
For 500 miles.
Yeah, but he doesn't get points. Let's have a look. Bottom of the points at the moment is actually you, Chris. You're in 10th place, 137.87, which is why I say you've got to get really 130s to get into the points. I'm in the points at the minute, so points are achievable for everyone, because we all know I'm terrible.
Yep.
Lee, your time is 129.8.
is it for Lee?
Yeah,
So-
and that is currently good enough for 5th. We haven't seen Jeff Sharp's time yet.
I don't
No.
mind. As long as I get points, I've been fucking rubbish lately.
But current leader at the moment is Finn Wilson, and Chris Rowden. I have got your time on the list this week after missing you off on the last two
Yeah,
for various going on holiday reasons and internet failing and everything like that. And you will get the points for Spain added onto the grand total as well.
Yes.
Promise.
Yeah.
Because I've already got them on the main spreadsheet. I just need to copy it onto the webpage.
Just a letter from your mum and it's all fine.
I've got to get my mum to. Oh no, I'm not letting my mum get in touch with you.
So yeah, so like a low 130.
Low 130s is going to be good for the points.
It looks like it's probably going to put you in the points.
Yeah, it's finding a setup that's the killer. Because when Lee told me his time and the fact that he'd beaten me by about 0.9 of a second, it's like, oh great, I'll nick your setup.
Do you know what? People who are
Wouldn't
listening,
bother, I used yours.
people who are listening to this podcast and maybe they don't take part in this at all, so give it a go. Go on.
Yeah, go and do it. If
Go
you
on.
don't have a PlayStation,
Well,
go buy a
don't.
PlayStation.
It's awful. wait for next week when it's going to be Canada.
You don't know what he's going to do to us in Canada, though. That's going to be the problem.
It can't be worse.
Don't know. I'm enjoying this rain.
I'm just waiting for him to say
This
challenge
rain's
accepted.
This
My-
wet stuff's pretty good.
I am enjoying this challenge. I didn't think I would. I thought I would hate it,
I thought I'd hate it as well.
but it's actually quite fun.
Yeah.
So that's that for Formula Lee for this week.
Yeah.
We will reveal the full top 10
Yeah.
and dish out the points and sort out the prizes on next week's
Absolutely.
podcast. Mailbag. Let me.
We have a
bring up-
thread, don't we, on Facebook where some people have asked us some questions. I think we've had a couple of emails in as well.
Yeah, we have. Phil Totty says odds of Alonso not finishing and Button on the podium.
Go to your local bookmakers.
Yeah, we don't know odds. When you bet, never listen to us. I mean, we've already talked about Alonso, and he's got a fighting chance
I
if
want
the
to
engine
know
holds out.
what sort of heartless bastard wants to see Fernando Alonso not finishing his IndyCar race.
I don't think it's a case of not finishing. I think it's just sort of they don't want to see him not finish.
I
It's just,
don't know. He's thought it. Like,
yeah, what are the odds of him not finishing?
What is it going to fucking break up your day of kicking puppies?
He's from Harrogate. There'll be very exclusive puppies.
Oh, right.
As Adrian said earlier on,
Kicking Shih Tzus.
it'll be if you can get through turn one without any scuffles, lap one, turn one, then it stands a good chance of a strong finish. But I mean, it's a 500-mile race, so who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows what could happen? There's some tight corners there. It's tough. There's banking. It can be a bit of a lottery, but it'll just be interesting to see what goes on. Cameron Burke says, do you think anyone in the field will have a performance similar to Jules Bianchi in 2014 where he got 8th? Is this Van Dorn's time to shine? It could be.
It could be. I don't know if it would be Van Dorn or such. I would probably. It could well be.
This is why I said the chance of the podium for Ocon.
I would say Wehrlein probably. If anyone else is riding high on those points finish from Spain.
I think almost everyone apart from the crashy ones have a decent chance of doing well.
Yeah.
Better chance than a lot of the other circuits.
Fernando Romero Padilla says, do you guys think Max Verstappen will be able to finish at Monaco this year? Or will he try to outdrive the car as he did last year? And will we see both Williams finish the race?
I think Max will finish.
But both Williams?
No. Not a chance.
No.
One Williams, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Massa will finish.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say something really profound then.
No, I wasn't. I was just thinking, I thought, well,
Oh God, I'll have a vape.
He
Which
might-
is a vape and not a douche flute, by the way.
Yeah, but we
Douche flute is a great name for it, though.
Fucking terrible weekend for Williams here.
No, do you know what? Lance Stroll could finish the race if he drives really slowly.
Well, if he
Finishes
drives-
3 or 4
he
laps down.
He could win if he drives really well.
He's not going. He's not going to though, is he?
No, absolutely not.
But he can drive really slowly.
Yeah.
If he drives really slowly in hopes that everybody else crashes out.
You said he crashed on the outlap. Outlap's
Yeah.
pretty slow.
That's a good point. I did say that.
Yeah, you kind of just contradicted yourself. So
Bold prediction: Stroll to bin it on the formation lap.
I think you might be able to finish, but we're not likely to see him trouble in the points
I was just-
unless there's
yeah.
only 8 cars finished.
He's not going to be dripping in points, is he, afterwards? God, I need a wash to get all these points off me.
Daddy'll buy you some. Yeah, we missed.
you mean?
I do think that things are going to turn around for Lance Stroll at some point.
Yeah, the car.
No. He's gonna put in a good performance and shut up a lot of his detractors.
It's going to turn round, it's going to go upside down.
People who shut us up so far this year: Pascal Wehrlein. Oh, that'll do.
Moving swiftly on. I don't know whether this is a good thing or a worrying thing, but you know our resident slow Greek, Nick Patakis,
Yes.
who crept
Got
onto
points.
got points in the last Formula League Challenge for Spain. He's actually going to start doing some real racing.
Oh, very good.
Him and his uncle have got a E30 BMW racer, and they're actually going to start racing it.
Brilliant.
And it will have 3 legs per wheel stickers on.
Yes, nice one, Nick.
Yeah, the more fucking race cars we can get 3 legs 4 wheel stickers on, the better.
Yeah, I mean, you can do any level of motorsport. It doesn't matter if you do karts, if you do stock cars, banger racing. It doesn't
You don't even
matter.
need to be very good.
No, just we'll give you a 3 legs 4 wheel sticker to put on that car, or we'll send you.
We'll send you the artwork.
We'll send you the artwork, and you can print it off because it might work out cheaper that
And our
way.
mere enthusiasm might give you some time.
Yeah, Who knows? And then somebody might come up to you and go, I listened to that. And then you can start a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will be on another actual proper racing car again soon. Email from Agent Q with some questions. If the covered cockpit comes to F1, then what will be the excuse of not bringing back refueling?
I don't
We
think
don't want
need
it.
Yeah, we don't
Decent
want it.
racing.
Yeah.
And also
fire.
lighter fuel. Not lighter fuel as in fuel you put in your lighter. But lighter fuel regulations with only having 100 kilos of fuel. You're not gonna necessarily need to refuel in order to gain an advantage. It's probably quicker to run the race with 100 kilos of fuel in your car and only have like 2.3 second pit stops, and then just carry on with it rather than sort of run with 30 kilograms for the first stint and then 80 or 70 for the second stint, and then have longer pit stops every time you have to stop. Probably work out more beneficial.
Yeah.
With the way the Formula runs at the moment.
I'd also like to point out as well that it's not just Formula One drivers which are flammable. Like, mechanics are flammable as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Benetton definitely proved that.
Yeah.
The Williams garage is flammable.
Yeah, but that was the Kurz exploding.
Even
Pasta's-
still.
on Pasta's car.
Even still, let's not have loads of fuel in there next time it happens.
He didn't crash during the race. He just burst into flames afterwards.
Yeah.
And I would much rather have 1.9 second pit stops where they change all the tyres than 7 second pit stops where they change
Give
the
it an
tyres and
MOT.
Do you
refuel
remember,
it.
like pit stop races like we had with, was it Sainz and Magnussen, or Kvyat and Magnussen, this race just gone in
Yeah.
Spain? And they came out sort of like side by side, coming out of the pit. That's much more exciting than two drivers coming into the pits and one stopping for 5 seconds and the other one stopping for 8.
Yeah. Another thing he asks, kind of relates to Indy this weekend. Do you think Alex Rossi will get back to F1? Or is he in IndyCar full time?
Full-time IndyCar driver.
I think he's full-time IndyCar now.
He's doing too well in IndyCar and doesn't have the backing to get him into a Formula One team.
No.
I just have a feeling that Haas are keeping a close eye on him because
But I don't think he'd want to go back.
it depends if Haas can produce the car.
Yeah, that's the
But
thing.
I think if Haas were chasing podiums
Yeah.
then, and said to Alex Rossi, do you want to join? Then I think he'd think about it. But he has won one of the most prestigious races in motorsport.
Alex Rossi has to get him into that.
Xander Rossi.
Yeah. Alex Rossi needs
Xander Rossi.
Alex Rossi needs to get himself into that Franchitti type of like area.
Franchitti,
sorry.
Where he commentates on Formula E.
Apart from commentating on Formula E, but when he was racing, where
Well, yeah, he's retired from motorsport.
people looked at him as being the fucking real deal.
Yeah.
Like, Rossi has to get himself in that area to where he is considered one of the best drivers in the world because of what he's doing in IndyCar. And if he can get that clout behind him, then a top drive in Formula One doesn't seem a million miles away.
But at the moment in Formula One, he's just considered someone who did more with a manner than you should be able to do.
I don't even think he did more with the Manor, did he?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, exactly. So he just did a Manor drive.
He was okay.
Yeah. He was unfortunate enough to land himself a drive in Formula One with a failing team.
Yeah.
So, but it would be nice. I mean, it would be good because, especially if we're going to have 2 races in America, we really do need an American driver in Formula One.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's
for the
ju-
American fans to get behind. And I mean, it's great having Haas there and all that, but I mean, it's no good having a French driver and a Danish driver and an American team lose their sort of national identity then.
Yeah.
But having an American driver in Haas would be the dream ticket for Formula One in America.
I think
Haas-
having Alonso do the Indy as well will give American fans who weren't fans of Formula One before someone to latch onto and cheer for.
Yeah, this guy that's just come in for one race, gone really fast. Okay, what's his day job?
Yeah.
What does he do in that? Do we think McLaren are going to give a test to an IndyCar driver or two
No.
at some point in return? Well, an Andretti driver or two.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Andretti, who's driving the other cars for Andretti? It's Marco Andretti.
Marco
isn't it?
Andretti, who I think won.
The only way it would happen if it was like an old McLaren for like a photo shoot or something.
Or the young drivers test at the end of the season, because they won't have the Formula One experience, but they will be super license eligible.
No, because I don't think there's anyone good enough to warrant them dropping dropping a test for a Prio. Testing's so limited.
Yeah, the young drivers test at the end of the season.
Yeah, you're
though.
not. Yeah, no, but even that's limited. So you don't want to burn a test just to. Just for
They
some
have.
sort of PR.
Do they have to put a young driver in at some point?
It's got to be a driver that has done no more than 2 Grand Prix. That's what counts as a young driver. Oliver Turvey is a young driver. 30-year-old Oliver Turvey. So it's perfectly feasible. I mean, the other Andretti drivers, we've got Takuma Sato.
Wouldn't qualify as a young driver.
Yeah, Alex Rossi, who wouldn't. Marco Andretti. But the one that caught my eye, who has been pretty good in IndyCar from what I know, is Ryan Hunter-Reay.
He's been quite kind about Alonso, hasn't he? Marco Andretti less so. Marco Andretti's been like, all the drivers been giving tips to Alonso, whereas we're not going to as soon as the race starts. He's on his own.
Yeah. Not being funny, like Ryan Hunter-Reay, that is a country singer if ever I've heard
Ryan
one.
Hunter, it's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's the second most country singer name on the Indy 500 grid.
Yeah.
Behind.
J.R. Hildebrand. He
No, that
takes it.
sounds like cigarettes.
who is your Australian? Who is your Australian guy that used to like pick up the animals and poke them with sticks and stuff?
Steve Irwin?
Yeah, he tried to hunt a ray and it didn't go very well.
No, he did not.
Sorry, when you were saying Australian guy, I was looking at Scott Dixon and Will Power, but one of them's Kiwi. They're also IndyCar drivers. His brother Max is better.
Good.
I'll nick that joke off another F1 podcast.
Oh, was that a
Twitter
joke?
feed. Yeah, no. No, because I nicked it off another F1 podcast Twitter feed. It was a tweet. I don't know, I could see McLaren giving Hunter-Reay a test at the end of the season. He's 36, but he still qualifies as a young driver because he's not done 2 Grand Prix.
but like I say, Formula One testing's so short. And because they have nothing to gain from that, rather than giving someone a jolly in a Formula One car, they can't gain any knowledge from it because he's not.
Can't feedback the car correctly. Yeah.
Well, if you're giving someone who's experienced at driving a race car chance to give feedback on a race car, and you've got the choice between
your simulator drivers or a 36-year-old IndyCar driver.
Yeah, you've got the choice between someone who won a Formula One Codemasters competition, or the guy who's doing pretty well in IndyCars.
Okay, well,
which one would you think would give better feedback?
Okay, maybe not the competition winner from that, but maybe that little ginger lad that they kept hostage for a while.
I don't know, I could...
One day, my son, you will be as famous as Gary Paffett.
A fairly decent DTM driver.
Yeah. He's not the Formula One driver he wanted to be, though, is he?
No, thank you, Ron.
Yeah, but it's like Sean said on 100th show. You get drivers, was it the 100th show, or was it the first time? I can't remember. But you get drivers, they just hit their ceiling.
Find the level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gary Paffett's level wasn't F1.
No.
But good in closed cockpit racing.
Pastor Maldonado's level tended to be the ground
Well,
when he was upside down.
yeah, depends who he was turning over at the time. I think that's about everything covered for this week.
Well, that sounds lovely. Let's go to bed.
We haven't said get well soon
Not
to
together.
Sebastian Bourdais.
Oh, we haven't.
Yeah.
Ex-Toro Rosso driver, of course,
Yes.
who was looking incredibly quick at Indianapolis when he went headfirst into a wall.
And testament to the safety
Absolutely.
of IndyCar these days with the safer barriers and the impact cell.
And
on
10
the cars.
seconds from his car coming to a standstill to someone being beside him.
Those safety crews are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the wall at some speed, and
Terrifying looking crash.
Scott Dixon said he probably would have taken pole if it wasn't for that. If it wasn't for the accident, he was going that quick. He was likely to be on
He was a
pole.
lot quicker than everyone else, yeah.
Yeah. But it was, I think he escaped from the accident with, what was it, fractured pelvis and broken hip.
I think so, yeah.
And he said he'll be back, he just doesn't know when.
And he's got a picture on Twitter today of him up and walking
Good
already,
stuff.
which is
Well, with a
stunning.
broken pelvis.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, the man either knows no fear or
My
knows good
abiding
painkillers.
Yeah.
my abiding memory of Sebastian Bourdais in Formula One was when he was asked to retire the car at a race. And I remember it being a very wet race. I want to say possibly Hungaroring, Nürburgring.
Yeah.
And I remember he pulled in and he was so angry that when he put his glasses on, they steamed up. and he couldn't keep his glasses not steamed up because of course he has to wear his glasses quite often because of his eyesight. But there's not many drivers you can say about that, who wear glasses quite a lot, or spectacles, especially when they're driving.
Yeah.
I remember Riccardo Patrese did in the GP Masters, didn't he? GP Masters series.
Ralph Schumacher did when towards the end of his F1 career, when he found that it was actually more comfortable than wearing contact lenses, which he'd done for about the
When he
6
had to
years
see
before.
the rest of the field.
Yes.
I like to give a shout out to the commentator, the Indy commentator, when Bourdais crashed, because he had a massive accident, flipped upside down. There was flames, and he seemed to flop in the car for a split second.
He did
which,
a bit,
which
yeah.
was very worrying.
Yeah,
But as soon as he lifted one hand up to try and move his visor slightly, this guy, oh no, he's all right. He's all right. He's just there thinking, that could be your last motion. And this commentator's going, he's fine.
Exactly, yeah.
'Tis but a flesh wound.
Well, if you remember when Ralph Schumacher had his heavy crash at Indianapolis, the crash was so heavy that he wasn't able to talk back to the team on team radio.
Yeah.
And he was sort of semi-conscious. And I can't remember who it was in the Williams team at the time, but somebody said...
It was Toyota he was in.
Was it Toyota?
Yeah,
It was Williams. He crashed in the year before Michelin Gate.
Yeah.
When all the cars had to safety car had to go past a stage to be Ralph Schumacher on the grid, and Michael had to pass his own brother, sort of facing the wrong way whilst those. But the way that the team said to him, "Look, we know you can't talk back to us. If you're okay, lift your hand and touch the top of your helmet." And they were watching the camera, and he lifted his hand and put it on top of his helmet. And one of the guys from the garage ran down to Ferrari to tell Michael's engineer, "We've asked him to do this. He can't respond. He's done it. He's okay."
Yeah.
As far as we know, and that's when they radioed through to
Did he
Michael to say
he fractured
he's all
vertebrae,
right.
didn't he? in
Yeah,
his
he was
back?
out for a race or two, I
Yeah.
think, after that, or the rest of the season possibly, because it used to be right towards the end, didn't it? Of the
Was that his last season in Formula One?
no, I think he did one more season after
Did
that. Yeah.
He did. Right. We will be doing some TT stuff over the next couple of weeks.
We will, because we've had a great response to asking us whether or not we should be doing it.
Some of the highlights are, please, yes, and for the love of God, do it. We get to hear bugger all.
We might have to do for some of our listeners then next week.
What the fuck is the Isle of Man TT?
Yes.
Yeah. Should we get an expert in that's watched the TT before?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get an expert. Who can we get?
We're burned.
Mark Webber's over, isn't he?
Mark
Yeah.
Webber's over. We'll try and get him. We have invested in a portable broadcast quality voice recorder. So this year we're going full on. I am going F1 person stalking around the TT paddock.
And expect if
You'll
you
be our
face-
very own Martin Brundle.
I will be. I'll be doing several grid walks.
and expect us to do some Facebook Live videos. I'm trying and do some of those on my phone if I can, without being ridiculed too much when I spin a bump into someone I know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if we can what we can do for you as well.
So there'll be stuff on the Facebook page. We'll put a couple of extra podcasts up. I think we'll have to call them 3 legs, 2 wheels
Possibly.
for TT. Obviously, we'll be back next week with a review of Indy, a review of Monaco,
Yeah.
and
What the fuck is the TT?
what the fuck is the TT?
Yeah.
Yeah, should be easier to do that one, I reckon. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch, we've got the Facebook page that we've already mentioned, facebook.com/3legs4wheels.
Yeah.
The website, well, we'll be doing the live blog all day Sunday,
From sun up till sundown.
from sun up till after sundown.
It sounds like a terrible dance song.
By J.R. Hildebrand.
Might stick that in our set on Sunday night. No, we're not going to. We're opening with a Metallica song, so that's just sort of setting the bar.
Yeah. Stop peddling your wares.
I'm not. It's a charity gig.
Also, I want to say thanks to everyone who's gone and liked my music page after I posted it on the 3 Legs 4 Wheels page.
Yes,
as
go
well.
and like Chris's
Thank you very
music
much.
page.
I also posted. Well.
I also posted your band's thing on my music page as well.
thank you
So I
very
think
much.
I got a couple of likes on that too.
Yeah. But yeah, go and subscribe to Banter Club on iTunes.
What is Banter Club, Lee?
It's a pro wrestling podcast.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, You can subscribe to all those other podcasts, including Three Legs Fourth Down. And if you want to get in touch on Twitter, we are at Three Legs Four Wheels, and also
I'm at A Total Shunt.
At Flood21.
At Danbert.
and at Pablo100. You can email us 3legs4wheels@gmail.com. That's a good place to send your Formula lead times in.
Yeah.
Send those in on a private message on Twitter to the main 3 Legs 4 Wheels or a private message on Facebook. And if you want to hear us rambling about extra things, we've got the Patreon show.
Yep.
Patreon.com/3 Legs 4 Wheels. You can pledge as little as $1 a month. You get an extra show. There's other freebies in there. And it'd be great to have you along. You get to hear some quality stories about what's been going on in our lives that isn't F1 related. Some of it's broadcastable. The rest of it's Lee's stories.
Hi.
Yeah, there's some fairly close to the bone stuff in there. So if this podcast offends you, maybe Patreon's not the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, for the easily offended, leave now.
Man up. Sense of humour.
And we'll be back same time next week. We may be back on YouTube.
Yep.
We'll have to see how things go.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.